Futures downside here this morning as we get going into brand new year 2024, off to a red start right now, right across the board. We have yields moving back to the high side in a pretty big way. 10-year back to 4% here this morning. 30-year on a big move back higher as well. Overall, the market's maybe in for a bit of a pullback here anyways, seeing as how we had such a strong move into the end of 2023. Lots of things moving around as far as individual movers this morning. Some positive news coming out of Europe for Tesla. We'll talk about that this morning. We have crypto back above 45,000. Everything crypto related benefiting from that early on this morning. Apple with a downgrade. That's not going to help things much as far as the overall market is concerned. Welcome to brand new year. It's Tuesday, January 24th, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. That's how things are looking right now. 1% already for the Qs here. We just bounced off 405 coming into play once again. If you zoom out a little bit on the daily chart, still well intact is this nice upward trend overall in a higher time frame. But yeah, market may be due for a little bit of a pullback here as we get going into a brand new trading year of 2024. A couple things of note coming up this morning. 9:45, we'll get the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI. It's a final reading for last month. 10 a.m., some construction numbers. There's really not a heck of a lot of significant data this week. ISM PMI for December coming up tomorrow morning at that same time. But good look to kick things off. Happy New Year. Welcome back.
Likewise.
It's 2024, if you
super
can't believe it. It's crazy.
Quick.
Yeah.
Holy yields, Batman.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, the 3-year up 3 1/3, Brendo. 10-year up 3%, like you were saying. Big move up for yields. ASML also overnight catching a move down as the Dutch government there being pressured by the U.S. government to prevent that company from selling the lithography machines to China for the advanced chip makers. A couple of other downgrades. Apple, obviously, big move down, pulling these markets down, Brendo.
Yeah, Unity as well under a little bit of pressure here this morning, to say the least, on another analyst note. So, I mean, all we did was go straight up into the end of the year. So what else is there to do, I guess, than sell to start off the new year? But if you remember, we were talking just before we came on here. If you remember going back to the first day of last year, it was basically the low of the market. The market just went straight up from January 3rd. It was the first trading day last year. But good to be back. Good to be back in a brand new year, guys. Happy New Year and good morning.
Good morning and happy new year to everybody. And let's make 2024 a great one. Like that's all you ever try to do. Weekend was obviously going to be fun anytime you're spending it with family. We got to get back into it here. It's interesting that Brendan said that. You know, the point of the open on the 3rd, 2023 being the start of the rally and being that bottom point. Whether you get the same thing again here to this year, I kind of think that's pretty highly unlikely. That's not going to repeat itself, but you do have a 1% down market where it's just trying to catch some kind of a bid. So already you have some profit taking coming in there, which is to be expected when you run into a new year after the year that we had. You got Boeing in the news. You guys talked about Unity Software. Apple with the downgrade, Boeing with the downgrade is going to be in play, and the crypto names. Hallelujah. Because once again, it's the rally, 45,000 for Bitcoin. Pretty impressive run after the, bloodshed that some of those names had, like Mara's and the riots on the last 2 trading sessions. Big gap to the upside, and a lot of those. Coinbase is lagging a little bit, but there's a lot to be able to dig into. And on top of that, the New Look Raptors have a reason, at least, to get me to cheer. I cannot believe I think we fleeced New York. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm a huge Quickly fan, so I'm liking the deal. I'm liking 2024. The Raptors needed to do something, and they did it.
Yeah, the Raptors. Yeah, it should be fun. I started to watch a little bit of them yesterday. I haven't watched them in a while, but Raptors got 12, 13, and 20 right now, so it's a nice little move there. All right. Yeah, I like oil today. Oil making the move back to the upside. Welcome, everybody. What a crazy, great New Year's it was. So much action was at the First ever women's hockey game yesterday was absolutely fantastic. Got to meet some of the best, Canadian athletes in the world, which is amazing. Anyways, let's just move on here. 45.6 for Bitcoin, incredible. I hope everyone had a great new year. We're ready to rock and roll, man. Everyone's in the chat again. Just want to say, hey, where's my roll call thing? I know you're busy over there. Do I even have it on here? Let's do a little bit of a roll call if we can. Oh, actually, my stream deck's not even up. Just want to say welcome to everybody who's here for right now. What's up to Zoltan? What's up to Bears vs. Bulls? What's up to Thomas? Michael Lloyd is here. David Kyle's here. Faded Trader's here. Gabby McBoston is here. Bob W is here. Juan is here. Everybody's here. Happy New Year to absolutely everybody, as here comes everybody in the chat. I just wanted to say a Happy New Year to everybody, man. Everyone's going to stay late with me again today. We'll have another market recap show to go. I hope everybody checked out the podcast. Our #1 podcast as of yet. Every week's going to be #1. That's how it works. What's up to Nimit, Raul, Pierre, Sergeant Reckless is in the building. Vanessa's here as well. That's great to see. The Piper is here. Let's go. Let's pay that Pied Piper, baby. There it is. What's up to you? What's up to Ryan, Alric, DJ K, Scott, and Franco? Everybody is here right now, and we have the best community in the world, and thank you so much for coming back here on January the 2nd, as there's a lot of people still in bed. So if you're awake, you're a real one with us. So what's up to everybody? Thank you so much. It's going to be another good day. Let's go back over to the desk of the big boys.
Yeah, a lot to get into here this morning. Let's talk about Rivian. Deliveries coming through here for Q4 down significantly, to say the least. It was 4% when I looked last, but deliveries not as, well, I just broke my chart. So maybe you can bring up a Rivian there.
Yeah,
but
sure,
downside a little bit bigger than expected for Q4 deliveries.
Yeah, well, 17,000 and change there, Brendo. I'll just pull that up in a second, but here is the chart on Rivian, the 15-minute look. It was interesting to end the year, a bit flat there, Brendo, but big move down off that 23.5 down into 22. Let me just tell you a little bit about the details of the deliveries here. 17,541 vehicles delivered. That was ending December 31st. On a full year basis, they produced 57,232, more than the 50,000 they were predicting. So it's a beat on the year, but the end of the quarter missing expectations there.
Yeah, so it looks like you were saying, yeah, 17,541 they produced and then delivered 13,972, yeah, from Illinois. So decent sized miss on both of those, but trying to bounce here, guys, so far. 5.5 though already for Rivian.
Yeah, and the thing about Rivian here is it was like there were so many names that were gapping down and were looking weak. This was one that before that delivery number had it in front of support. Like I actually thought this one, if it could have held out, if it could have been a good beat here, 22.5 would have been a pretty key level to maybe get a bounce. It's been holding a nice little bull flag in there for another leg to the upside, but you just took out that 22.5. So support turns into resistance, resistance turns into support. I think on the way back in here, if this can't take 22.5 into the upside, this could look a little bit dicey for them. But that level's still going to be in there. They're not the only name that reported deliveries. Obviously, we got all the Chinese ADRs. I haven't seen Teslas yet, but beginning of the year, at the end of the day, Rivian was on a pretty big run, like much of everything else in the market. So there was likely to be some selling start to come in, and you can see it was at a resistance zone anyways out here on the daily chart. So I got 2250 lined up. There's even a seller there already for, I don't know, it's only about 20,000 shares, but when I look at the level 2, that's a decent amount of size. So it's clearly going to be that key price. I don't think it falls all the way into the obvious support level, which would be back at 20. I don't think there's that much of a chance that we do see it. So down 5% for now on Rivian, just double checking to see if there's anything going on with my favorite, or everyone's favorite, other favorite EV names, and Sympathy. Lucid still not really breaking that $4. And the only reason I look at Lucid is I know on any kind of Sympathy or any kind of push down in the EV names, this has been hanging on to the $4 level like an absolute champion. So a breakthrough that level or bounces off that level give you a lot of opportunities, but still nothing doing on that particular name. Although I think we're going to see some action off that Lucid $4 at some point in the next couple of weeks.
All right, so I know. Is there? I know you've recently got into Rivian. Obviously, it's going to be a long-term play. Is there a longer-term out for you if it breaks anywhere here?
I have no, because I took a position that wasn't. I didn't intend it to be a swing. So it's like that's
I
not
was
what
only
I'm
looking
going
at like
for.
18. I don't know if we get down to 18. Do you
If
buy
I
more?
was,
I don't know.
if I was doing it short term, the 50 period and the 200 period are basically at 18.
Yeah,
I'd take it.
I didn't
out
even
there.
realize this was.
But because I'm taking a shot at this, this will be the one, the one that's not Tesla or that's BYD.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold on to it and just give it that shot. So.
Yeah, I mean, it only gave back last week. Yeah, so it's not that big of a deal.
bad.
A lot of the stocks are down. I didn't even look at Rivian today, but yeah, that $22 mark is looking pretty good. I'm actually writing right now the other way here on the sticky note, and that is oil. I mean, oil today is up 2 and a bit percentage points. I'm just putting XOM on the sticky note here today. So I feel like if we're going to look red on the market, which it looks like we're doing that dead on right now, down 1.1%, XOM up 0.7, we can go long or short here on a prop floor. So it doesn't necessarily matter which way I decide to go. But, we're holding out pretty decently at this $100 level. You had a little bit of garbage down here through $98 and kind of held that pretty good. So I don't see the risk here, especially with crude oil. I mean, here's a CL $F. So here's the continuous contract on crude right now, up about 2 1/4, so 2 1/4%, a little higher than that, almost 2 1/2. Looking to take out some $73, $74 areas now for crude. So as long as we don't get below 71.50 or so back in here today, we might even bounce off of the pivot point of 72.60 from Friday, right there for crude. So I like XOM, and the sticky note's going to be out very, very shortly, and it does have ExxonMobil on it. You can also look at Oxy, and there's a bunch of different names, but I think oil plays definitely in the spot here today, and I think you should have some oil in your portfolio to sort of offset what potentially could happen here in some of these big cap tech names.
Numbers here too, guys. So just be aware, Tesla moving around a little bit. So in the fourth quarter, they produced 495,000, delivered 484,000. Full year up 38%, 1.81 million. That's deliveries for Tesla. While production grew 35%, 1.85 million cars total for Tesla.
Yeah, we're really close to that 2 million car mark. Let's compare this to BYD, because BYD released their data as well. So total cars for BYD were about 3 million, but that's a bit misleading because it's called new energy vehicles, and that includes hybrid. Their battery-powered cars only, 1.6 million, Brendo. So Tesla beating them handily here by over 200,000 vehicles. Good luck for Tesla.
So in Q4, Model 3, Model Y deliveries, 461,538 units. Other models then above that, so the S and the S Plaid, I guess, 22,000, the X as well, 22,969. So still the Y and Model 3 making up most of those sales, but huge, huge numbers there for Tesla.
Yeah, good look for them. And a lot of the talk was, or at least what I was reading going into this, was the fact that BYD was possibly going to end up beating them. Now, I got this line marked off here, 246.50. Thought that would be the over-under. I mean, it is in the sense that it's bouncing from that level, but you want the deliveries to come out. So if you go back on the 15-minute chart, you get that 246.5. You're already testing 250. The great thing about Tesla, in terms of if the market gets a bounce, if it gets a bounce from here, is that it was so weak, relatively speaking to some of the other names the last couple of weeks, that it actually has some room to play a little bit of catch up. Like, yes, it pulled back the last couple of days, but right back into the trend support level, down around 245, over 246.5. I'd be looking longs. If it holds 250, sort of the same thing. You got 260. If we get back up there, that's trouble, I suppose, but I don't think you have to worry about that for a while. You're now up 1% on Tesla. I would anticipate a dip at the open. Generally speaking, that's what we usually get on deliveries, but all systems go for Tesla. I've been liking that trend sort of reversal on the daily here and the consolidation above. It has yet to break away from that price, but as you can see, the resistance trend, that's why we have it in here, has now held as support once again. Good delivery numbers, just the catalyst.
Okay. All right. I'm just writing the sticky note out here. All right. So Tesla, I don't know. I've been pretty this is the most recent name that I actually bought. And then I was thinking, like, you know, and we bought it good. We got it like down at 220. I think we got some at 220. Then we got some like 205 or something like that. But the thing about Tesla is, and I sort of took to heart like what Michael Noss was saying last week, and that is like, if stocks haven't been performing quite well in this bull run that we've had, like an amazing bull run from, well, it started basically all year, but even if you just talk about the October bottoms or something like that, you know, I mean, that's sure, it's gone from 200 to 250, 260. It's been a great move. But over the last like month or so, it really hasn't accelerated like a lot of the other names. Now, some of them are giving back today, so this will look a little better today as compared to some of the other ones. So potentially today you look for a little bit of a long. Now you get that good news, and now you get an instant bump up of $5. So, I mean, that's Tesla straight up $5, right? 245 to 250. We actually touched 251. So $6 straight to the upside on that. Let's see. I do think that there is something with BYD. We'll have to figure this out with Bitcoin still moving to the upside. I mean, all this new technology seems to continue to win. Tesla's part of that. I like Tesla, but again, I'm going to leave it alone for a little bit here today. I don't know. I haven't got really the feeling. I actually like to trade this thing in the afternoon a little bit more sometimes than the open. We do have monster moves, though, that we can always take advantage of in Tesla. I just think that you've just bottomed out. Like, look, like if you can get something in around this 246, 247, if we bottom there again, I mean, those were the tops back in early December, you know, and then it respected that bottom right there. So 246, 247, definitely something to keep our eye on here for Tesla as you're starting to once again work your way back up to the upside. I don't really want to dance with it too much in the middle. The 200 period right here is at 255. So that could be something to look at, but we got to get there first. So nice move up there for Tesla. Probably take a pre-market break long. Let's just let it settle out for a little bit here.
All right. I was going to mention crypto here. Let me know, Fabian, when Jeff Mendel is going to join us here in a few minutes, but we can touch on Bitcoin. Just took out that high, or I guess it was early on this morning, but this is a daily chart for BTC back to the upside, trying to get to 47,000 once again, coming back into significant levels here on, that's a weekly chart, FYI. So anything crypto related going to be positive so far to start things off. I mean, Mara with a bit of a reversal candle going back to last week, but big gap up. We're actually trading up here once again this morning for Mara.
Yeah, 45.9 almost this morning for crypto, Brendo. Highest levels in 21 months. In my interview with Kevin O'Leary last week, he said that he doesn't think the spot ETF is going to get approved, and it's going to have to wait for a new administration to actually get that approved through the SEC. However, there are other tailwinds for crypto. The halving event coming this spring as well usually has a big run up. So good luck here. The price for BTC in 2023, guys, rose a cool 152%.
A lazy 122%. Yeah, that's fine. Let's, as I mentioned, bring in Jeff Mendel, head of broker-dealer sales over at OTC Markets. Happy New Year, sir. Good to see you.
Happy New Year, Brendan.
Let's jump right into things here because a lot to get to this morning. I wanted to touch on one that we don't really mention a lot, but some delivery numbers that we were just talking about with Tesla and also the Chinese competitor or biggest competitor over in China, which is BYD, out with their numbers as well. Tesla coming in higher, a little bit of a surprise there right across the board when you compare total sales for BYD versus Tesla, obviously just on the EV side of things, but not one that we mention very often anyways, is BYD trades over on OTC.
Yeah, BYD, the ticker over here is BYDDY. So it's actually trading down a little bit compared to the close last Friday. But that could just be with what's going on with the market here earlier on in the day. But yeah, BYDDY, it's trading at around $53, or it's being quoted 53 by 54.90 right now. So that's definitely one to look at.
I mean, some of the ones we touch on all the time. You mentioned when it comes to grayscale, there's more than just the GBTC, the Bitcoin Trust and the Ethereum Trust to look at. But here we go, back to 45,000 as we said, and then some for Bitcoin. So great option today.
Yeah, I think, one thing to notice, we're just talking about how Bitcoin went up. What was the number? 150% in the year. Well, GBTC actually, I think, obviously that track the price of Bitcoin, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. But also something to note too is that the discount in GBTC closed the gap. So the discount, when I say that, I mean relative to the price of Bitcoin, the discount that it was trading at, it was pretty significant at some points during the last year. But the gap has closed significantly. So yeah, GBTC, it's actually up. Going on $4 here in the pre-market. So there's some. It looks like maybe there's some trades going off around 38 right now. So definitely something to look at right now, even in the pre-market. It's GBTC.
A lot of, I'm just looking at the most active list here for OTC, a lot of Chinese names popping up as well. I mean, Tencent, there's Luckin, there's BYDDY that we spoke of, even Didi down here, DIDIY, a ton of volume across the board here. Is that going back to the last trading session there, Jeff, or is this real time?
So that's actually from the last trading session, but just pulling up Tencent TCEHY, there's some prints going off here in the pre-market this morning. A little bit of volume, not a ton, but it's let's see, it's trading around flat from where it closed last Friday. But that's TCEHY. There are some prints going off here in the pre-market. Same thing with Luckin Coffee, LKNCY. Right, those are two of the more active names in the space.
Great stuff. Anything else catching your eye this morning?
That's about it. I mean, the big thing obviously are the Grayscale names, and remember, there's a few more than just GBTC and ETHE. Just for example, BCHG, it's the Bitcoin Cash Trust, and that is actually trading. That's actually let's see, where is it? It's being quoted up a little bit from last week. So also, there's some trades going on here in the pre-market. So another one to look at, BCHG.
Jeffrey Mendel, head of broker-dealer sales over at OTC Markets. Good to see you as always.
Thanks, Brendan, and Happy New Year, guys.
To you, Jeff. Still there. Just to be sure, I see he's got the smile on his face. BCHG, an interesting one. I haven't really looked at that. GBTC, generally speaking, where you're going to look to. Here at Day Trade the World, we have the ability to trade on the OTC markets, and you get decent liquidity there. So regardless of where you happen to be executing or expressing your trades in crypto, that's what's moving today. So you got to be in the sectors that move. That's going to mean crypto until proven otherwise, at least for us here. So we talk about the Coinbases and the Riots and the Mars. I know sometimes you'll actually trade GBTC directly.
Yeah.
Which
we'll be trading it today. I mean, GBTC has Brendan and Jeff mentioned also doing some decent volume here right now, looking to trade much higher, right? So right here, I have it trading near $38. So that's what it's trading right here. We don't print every single print here in the pre-market, but there is some good volume, as you can see on the e-signal charts for GBTC. So nice move. We will be on this name and we'll be trading it today, as it's really, really rocking, up about 10% here with Bitcoin not even up close to that. Well, I mean, 45,000, I guess, depending on what you're looking at. Remember, this opens up again from Friday night, so it doesn't trade over the weekend. So all that move that happened in Bitcoin is going to get put back into the name here. So definitely a good opportunity here to look at the Grayscale product, and that is GBTC. Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey Mendel.
All right, a few other things to keep in mind here this morning. I just saw Tesla popping back up on volume scanner, but not a heck of a lot doing. 2.4% for crude oil so far. So some of the energy names moving around a little bit to kick things off on a brand new week here. So we can watch XOM. We can watch some of the other MROs, another one that I saw this morning doing a little bit of volume. So energy, interesting look, 2.5% to start here.
Yeah, the Americans launching what they call the Operation Prosperity Guardian, which is to protect some of the shipping vessels in the Red Sea passing through that strait. I forget the name of the strait, but anyway, American vessels engaging with some of the Houthi vessels, and that's caused the Iranians to put in a warship there. We don't talk politics on the show, but this obviously has ripple effects in the energy sector, Brendo.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit going into the end of the year about it. Obviously, oil being back at those significant levels once again, so maybe a bit of a bounce to start things off. Let's get some analyst moves here to start things off as well. Adara has upgrades and downgrades over at the board.
Expedia here getting an upgrade from Wells Fargo to kick off 2024. CubeSmart getting an upgrade from Jefferies Financial. Jefferies Financial also here upgrading AMH and Hilton. Grand Vacations, AMH trading up about 1% after this upgrade, guys. For downgrades, Apple's getting a downgrade from Barclays. Actually, $1 price target decrease from 161 to 160. But a downgrade here. Estee Lauder getting a downgrade from Deutsche Bank. Citizens Financial Group getting a downgrade also from Barclays. And last but not least, Hasbro getting a downgrade from D.A. Davidson, trading down about 1.35%, guys.
Thank you very much, Adair. I mean, the one that I think obviously is going to stand out there is going to be Apple. I mean, Boeing also catching one, but Apple is the big one on that list. We're going to get into that on the watch list, but I didn't want to gloss over that the move in energy names right now. That 1%, or that move to the upside, it's about 1% on Oxy in particular, which I have my eyes on only because of the $60 level. Now, Oxy has a bigger level that everyone is, I'm sure, aware about now, and it's in the mid-50s, 55, 56. It always bounces. Why? Because Warren Buffett just buys more of it, and the stock always rebounds off that price area. So on this upward move, it hasn't made that second leg up to 67, which has been a kind of money spot for the stock. So you're getting a consolidation off of this 60 level, at least today, above 60. You've already bounced once, twice, failed it on Friday, and then gapping above. So if 60 can hold today, I do like Oxy off of that price. I'll say this, the next time Oxy gets down to 55, 56, if it gets down there again, I think it's worth a swing trade, but that's just because of the Buffett level. We're not seeing that level today. I think working off the $60 level is the way to go, at least looking at Occidental today. The energy names are going to be in play today. Probably going to have to put this one, it wasn't on my top 4 or 5 list, but looking at it off this $60 level, it'll be one that I have on level 2 off of the open, and throw the deliveries for the EVs in there as well. Needed to see those numbers come out. Like, you can sit there and have ideas for something like a Rivian and keep price levels and Tesla as well, but the delivery numbers are going to come out, and you're going to move the stock $1.50 in a couple of minutes, and you're going to want to be able to adjust after you see that. So now things have calmed down. That 2250 actually held underneath, at least for now. So I think it's not looking great for Rivian in particular, looking good for the energy names. The market trying to bounce here, so it is worth noting that you're getting some kind of a bounce off the 16.8 level on the NASDAQ. We'll talk about that when we get to the futures in general.
All right, we've added here XOM, obviously, to the sticky notes. You guys can all go find this at Trader TV. Sean, it's now pinned up there. XOM long near 100. We're going to start at 100.25. Oil's back in play, as we just we mentioned as soon as we logged on here this morning. So that's why you guys definitely have to check out sticky note. Watch us on tradertv.live as well. Oil making that move in, and I just went right over to XOM. Huge move down on Friday, but now bumping back up a little bit. So it does have the pedigree to get going here, especially on this oil news. Oil's up about 2.5%. We just talked about some of those, the Red Sea and all these issues that are having through there. I continue to buy XLE, not so much USO, but just to sit here and trade a name today, why not trade XOM off this 99.50 bottom? It's pretty easy, pretty clear, and your boy will be all over that one. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. And then just a quick look at the imbalance locator. Fisker right there with a buy, as that name was moving around a little bit on Friday. We can double check to see what Fisker's at right now. Let me just have a quick look at this. 180. So remember, and again, we were here, and whenever we're here, that there's going to be some fun. We had Fisker long. We took about 10% on that on Friday, long 171, and got it all the way up. I mean, look, this was the early trade on Fisker, man. It didn't even stop. There's 171. There's the break, and we had this out up at the top side as well. So that was going to be a good trade there. We'll see if Fisker could do it again, but I don't see any oil names on here right now. As Uber goes up, yes, sir, let's go on Uber, man. That's going to be a good one as well. As we've been getting out of Uber, we talked about that, so it's nice to see that one down a little bit. It's not, and again, make sure you join. I don't know if we have the podcast thing, but make sure you go over to YouTube right now. Go find the podcast. It was an absolutely great one. Thanks, Brendan, for all the hard work on it. I still was talking about a pullback happening in January, so I don't think it's time to buy. People are saying, is it time to buy yet? This is just one day. Let's wait to see what happens. I think the end of January gets a little spicy. This is just cash rebalancing itself a little bit. Some people getting a little scared, I think, of this Apple move here today. So let's just wait to see what happens. Apple down 2 and a bit. That's never going to help the market, especially when it's so highly weighted. And that's why on the podcast we did talk about the equal weight RSP as well as a possibility here coming through for this coming year. We're also on Apple and Spotify and whatever else you check out your podcasts on. I should really find out a little bit more about that. Mine's on Apple. It automatically just comes to the phone. I'm subscribed, of course. So, but all right, let's go, man. Going to be a big day today. I think oil's going to be in play a lot more than we think. So I'm getting ready to go long on XOM. I already have some bids in there, actually.
We got 2 at least this year. Yeah, speaking of that, I wanted to mention this. We were talking about this as well on this week's podcast, the CME Fed Funds tool. At that point, back on Friday when we recorded that, this was at 16.9% in favor of a cut coming up in January, back to 12.9 with this move in some of the yields that we're seeing this morning. So it's looking more and more like we're going to get a hold, 87.1%. And there was a lot of talk last week that they're going to have to do more than they are leading on as far as cutting goes this year. So 69.3 right now. If you go out to March, still in favor of a cut, only 9.8% there, going 50 basis points, still about 21% on the maybe they hold for 2 meetings to start the year. So things moving around as they typically do.
Brando, I read an article over the weekend that the Bank of Canada wants to, or is projected by one analyst to cut rates by 2 to 2.25% this year. I mean, are we going broke? What's going on, correct? So
that would be a problem, yeah.
That'd be very aggressive.
It's a good point, because if they have to be that aggressive, then there's obviously some other underlying issues going on. But yeah, I mean, that Fed funds tool is still pointing to better part of 100 plus basis points, that is, coming off in the U.S. as well. All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here. Sharif's going to lead things off with a look at the market.
48.20, Brando, that's where we closed out on the ES. On Friday, the last trading day of the year. We're well below that now, almost 40 points south. 47.83 is where we stand. So let's say this. Look at this over here. Back on the 20th, that 47.50 was absolute support. Look for 47.50 as a level of support if we continue to make our way down. Look for 4,800 as your first level of resistance if we bounce back up. And then the overnight high, Brendo, 48.28. Look at that as final resistance.
If you have not done so, what a better way to start off the year, a free resource for you. Go to watchlist.tradertv.live or scan that QR code bottom left corner right now, and it'll take you there as well. Enter your email address, and then it comes every single day for free for you. Top of the list today, going to be Apple on this. Yeah, Barclays with a downgrade today to underweight. It's been a long time. I was actually thinking that this morning before we came on. When was the last time we saw Apple with an underweight rating? That's aggressive.
It is, yeah. Barclays holding no punches over here. Look, there's been a lot of headwinds for Apple lately, whether it's been slower device sales, the shortening or the lengthening, of the adoption cycle or the upgrade cycle, the watches that they had trouble selling towards the end of the year with their IP beef with Massimo. Lots of headwinds here. There could be some possible tailwinds. We'll have to see how the Apple Vision Pro does later this year when it's released.
Yeah, 2.4%. Currently, heading back towards, however, day lows already here for Apple.
Yeah, and I guess the worst of the Mag 7 names starts off last year in 2023, starts off 2024 as the worst of the Mag 7 names. So, one pre-market into it, and things haven't really changed all that much. Now, you can get into, look, the upgrades, downgrades, whatever. They've gotten a few downgrades recently. There's been some concern about where the growth is going to come. They've had declining revenues for the first time in a while in I think 4 quarters in a row. And the 50 period on the daily sits right here about $1.50. Sorry, I checked that, $1 lower than where we are, $1.50 maybe a few minutes ago, just underneath 187. So that's a big level. 187.5 was, if this 15-minute wants to cooperate here, 187.5 was a key support level, and then you have 187 going to be down there. Whether or not it can bounce off the 50, when I look at daily charts and you look at something like the 50 period or the 200 period moving average, I usually think it matters more for like whether stock can close above or beneath it. Sometimes you will get some bounces off of that level, and because we're close, it's worth acknowledging. I don't know if you get up high enough to retest previous support. as resistance today. So throw out 191 unless something crazy happens. 190 just happens to be a round number, so if looking for a place to fade this stock, either you get a huge rally or allow the pre-market levels to be your determination. So we had some time right around this 188.5, or sorry, 188.75. I think getting back into that level, into 189 quarter, like that's your first spot into the pre-market high. If it breaks that out, you know I love previous support and the resistance. It would take a heck of a move to get to 191. I just don't see that as very likely this morning. So, I mean, I could throw an order out there, but waiting for it to rally that high almost seems like a bit of a waste of time. Like, there's other names that I want to short the pop in that have a much better chance of filling at the open than necessarily Apple. But the pre-market high does give you a little bit of a setup, and don't sleep on the 50 period on the daily down at that 187 level if you're looking for a bounce zone.
Yeah, no longs for me on Apple today. Maybe if we get down low enough. I'm just going to continue the short, man. We're below 190. The trade is pretty simple for me. We've talked about shorting Apple through 200 this whole time. I mean, it's literally been the whole talk that we had ever since, I would say, December 14th. This was the whole fear in this trade, was exactly what's happening right now. So if you're a real one, maybe you're out. If you still want to buy some dips, you could do that as well. This was never a swing trade long up here. Now everyone is seeing what could happen. Apple probably continues to fall. I'm a buyer of Apple, probably down near 170, like into this area here. But I'm not putting any money to work in anything pretty much but oil and crypto until at least February, I would think, unless we get an absolute huge drop in. But you know what time it is right now? It's always nice to start your Monday off, and especially a new year, with a little bit of fruit salad. So today's fruit salad is brought to you by the word melon, as we have two different types of melon in here. I prefer the honeydew, the green, but it's very, very juicy and sweet. The cantaloupe. One more time, let's get this party started. Hopefully we'll have some Dollar Club winners, but right now it's a fruit salad type of morning as we'll get ready to rock and roll here with some short offers ready to go here on Apple.
And aggressive on the melon today for the fruit salad. Interesting. All right, we were going to talk about these European numbers that came through for Tesla, but heck, let's just talk about all of the numbers because we got those as well shortly after 9 o'clock there. Or before 9 o'clock, I guess it was. But anyways, I was just reading through all of this again. 495,000 on the production side of things, 484,000 on the delivery side of things in 2023. That's Q4 alone, 1.85 million total for the entire year, 35% to the upside. And then we got those European numbers as well that were impressive.
Listen to this, Brendo. In Q4, look at the breakdown of their deliveries. 461,500 vehicles are either Model 3 or Model Y. 22,900 vehicles are Model X and Model S. What does that tell you? They are really good at scaling these cars, especially the cheaper versions. We talked about this at the top of the show, guys, with respect to some of the comps with BYD. BYD did deliver about 3 million vehicles. However, only 1.6 million of those are actually battery. Only 1.4 million are hybrid. So the new energy vehicles that they're producing there in China, a lot, but not as many as Tesla for pure EVs.
So it's still all about the Model 3 and the Model Y. Yep. I think it's almost 2 to 1 in this city anyways that I see Model Ys versus Model 3. So it'd be interesting to see a breakdown just of those two, but definitely the more popular one here. Back to positive at least, but holding on around this 250 area, guys.
Yes, sir. And actually, when I look at the last maybe 45 minutes, the market has been bouncing. So it is a good sign that you have at least one of these Mag 7 names out there doing some lifting for us. I mean, Apple obviously not going to look that great, but Tesla, you get good delivery numbers. All you got to worry about here is, and this support is gone, so we're just going to redraw it there. It's about 246.5 where I like this thing. We talked about the trend that this was on. Whether or not whether you like Tesla, don't like it, it was pretty clear for the back half of 2023 and that final quarter that it was in a downward channel. right? Like everything else was going up into fresh highs. This was in a downward channel. Then it broke very late and then decided to just go sideways off of that. So that's the consolidation area you're in, which gives you a bottom at that 246, 247 area. That's where you go for the longs. Previous close at 248.5 looks pretty good for a dip buy zone. So I just want to be looking for some dip buys. They're the only name with it's got a positive catalyst. You held a support level as the market is bouncing into the upside. And it's one of the few things that actually stands out in that regard for an opportunity for some longs here off the open in terms of Tesla. I look the other way when it comes to Rivian. Rivian, as good as it's been, I'm looking the other way underneath that 22.5 zone for them. But Tesla looking pretty good to start the year as they battle a lot of competition coming in this year out of China, which is going to be a major theme for them. But hey, I still think they're the winner. I still think full self-drive in the long run is what takes them to the next level. Automating driving is going to be a big part of the business. But for now, the market hasn't been too excited about it. Just traded off the key levels. I like that 46.5. I'll like previous close 248.5 as well.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it looks like full year sales exceed the 1.8 million target unit. Yeah, so yeah, great numbers there for Tesla coming through, and it's about time. So that's nice. So again, in a market that's been beat up a little bit here today, maybe this is sort of what we're looking for here, sort of the white knight coming through on Tesla to sort of save themselves. Because if that number was the other way, then you're going to see a nice little move to the downside here if and when Tesla turns around. So it's nice to see that right now. For me, like I said, Tesla's just kind of still in the middle here. Let's just see what happens. I would love to get a dip buy in. I just don't, now it's not going to happen. But those tops and this bottom right there of 247, that's where we were this morning. So a little bit of a dip down, possibly in a negative market, takes us back into those areas. I want to buy Tesla down here. That break is 245. Let's just buy it until we break 245. So right now you're nowhere near, but you could easily slip down $3 off the open. So let's put a lower bid, see if we can get it. This is what we're talking about here today. Put on some serious shares, try to make a little bit of money with Tesla today down near 245.
There was some disappointing economic data out overnight in China. So anything China related, downside to the tune of about 1.6, 1.5% currently. Alibaba trying to bounce back up. They released some numbers on how many shares they repurchased last year as well. I think it was a little bit less than people were hoping for, so a little bit more negativity to pile on that. On the other side of things, Baidu as well, looking about the same, a little bit more, in fact, 1.8% downside. They were going to spin off this Joy, which is a Joyy, which is a video streaming platform on the NASDAQ. They've shelved that. They're not going to go ahead with the IPO.
Yeah, it's an interesting look there, especially with some of the issues they've been having with their AI. I know when it comes to Alibaba, Brendan was mentioning the share repurchase program that they had there, 897 million shares purchased as part of the repurchasing program. That amounts to about $9.5 billion US. They still have 11.7 authorized, Brendo, that they could buy back under the current arrangement. So possible, tailwind here for share buyback.
Yeah, still a pretty rough start to the year here, right across the board for anything China related. It's worth noting on that Joyy. I mean, a year where we're expecting interest rates to be cut significantly, the first notable IPO anyways of January put on the back burner for now. So maybe we see it later on, guys.
Yeah, look, who knows when we see that IPO. I know that's not the IPO that I think Xi'an is what everyone is kind of more excited for, the early part of whenever we get it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you when that's going to happen, but I think that'll be a little bit more exciting when it does come through. Certainly going to be a big battler. They've been beaten up on the likes of JD and some of the other retailers out there. Alibaba, 78's been a really good level for Baba. I don't know if we have any chance to fade off of that high. Let's go out to the daily chart. You can see it's a 50 period. It's been a nice bounce off 70. It's gone like 10%, and you could draw a trend in here and show it's just been a clear downward trend. There was one break of it if you look at the back half of the year, but until this breaks above 78 and maybe even 80, you're not going to get that second leg to the upside. So I just think that nothing has really changed. I think you're fading that 78 level until proven otherwise on Alibaba. Don't really have any dip levels. That's the key level up there that I would want to play off of. So it's an over-under play, but you're significantly under it. So I don't see much of a chance of a breakout, at least today. But you get through that. This is one of those ones where you draw the trend line, you have that 50 period lined up, you get a close above that number, you get a press through the 78. I do like the chance of a long at some point in January through that level. It's just a matter of this finally breaking out a little. It's just been languishing. And when you have a trend like that, the trend is your friend. And at the end of the day, traders are here to trade, and trading with the trend is the easiest way for profits.
All right. NIO for me is a little more interesting than Alibaba and stuff like that, just because it's at $9. But so we had a good bottom there, especially put in this morning at 880. So I think about like looking at that level more than anything else. So I think that 880 could be into something coming up right now, and then you can look at a larger scale. I just think there's a lot of room to get back up to the upside if everything works out here today and the market starts to go a little bit. You're bouncing off the 200 period right now on a 15-minute chart, so I like that. That's right at 880. Some nice bottoms there. I think if you're really going to lose it, it's probably going to be 850. So again, 30 cents worth of risk buying this 880 level. I think that's probably worth it. So I feel like something there for NEO. Obviously, we'd like to see it down to $8. You know, looking at this chart, it doesn't look fantastic. And then, of course, I always trade Alibaba. But this name, again, I look at this, and it's kind of in the middle again. And it's going kind of north side here. And I don't know if I really want stuff that are going north side right now. I will definitely be focusing. And you guys saw me on Apple when, you know, on Friday, we had some great wins just looking at Apple, right? And trying to stay focused in what we're doing. But Alibaba still should be a nice trade. You know, I was just looking at it. Maybe the only trade on this one is a short near in and around 77. So if we get back to there, what about it not taking out Friday's low and just trying to start the bidding in and around there and then get out if you're wrong in and around 77.10, 77.20, something like that. I'm actually sort of on the fence today. I know we have the double bears here and the double barrel bears, but I am sort of feeling like I'm not sure if I want to go short or long straight here off the open. So the fact that I can't feel my hands, that's the first part. The second part is we will wait to see as Bitcoin 45.8, that's dancing around and the market really hasn't moved too much since those Tesla numbers. So let's just take it easy a little bit off the open. I have some good ideas with ARM. I want to short some ARM underneath 50 as we're, ARM, no, sorry, 75. Not ARM, Affirm. Sorry, I saw ARM show up on the scanner. Okay. Affirm underneath 50. That's when I called up ARM. I was like, ARM, what? Affirm underneath 50, I think is a good one. And then, yeah, just because we talked about ARM.
50, I'd be crying.
Yeah, hopefully. ARM has a chance to get to 50, but not today, that's for sure.
I hope not.
As the pullback in. I think ARM gets to about 60, low 60s here at some point, but that's not, I didn't mean to call up ARM. AMD and all the chip names today would be in play for me again. And again, it's the same kind of talk, man. All you had to do is really fade 150 and then not worry about it until it broke it. So I still feel like that's the play. Similar to Apple at 200, you got NVIDIA near 5 bills and AMD at 150, all very key levels that you really don't need to be in the stock if you're nervous about this market environment, because once those levels break, you could just get right back in. So you can even use that strategy today as NVIDIA and AMD are still hovering near those tops.
Not landing.
Yeah. We're just talking about airplanes and air traffic control. Let's get to Boeing here on that. GS with a negative note. Goldman Sachs downgrade today on Boeing. This was actually going back to Friday, I believe it was, but if you recall, they have finally resumed operations of the 737 MAX over in China. Deliveries as well started up once again going into the end of the year. But Goldman with a downgrade today.
Yeah, removing it, Brendo, from their U.S. conviction list, saying that they removed the names that they no longer see as a top investment idea. It should be mentioned, though, that 21 of 31 brokerages that do cover Boeing have it as a buy or higher. Price target, the average there is 250. Just need to look only at the chart, and what it did in the later stages of 2023 was an absolute rocket.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. As far as the daily chart goes, still looks great. 1.4% downside, but not much to look at. Just a pullback here, guys, for Boeing.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously it's down 1.3%. This was, beginning to get some downgrades when a stock rocket ships like this one. Boeing, in the last couple of months to end the year, gave you like an $80, check that, $90 run to the upside. So it gave you a 50% move to the top, and you might be breaking that support level. At least it looks like you're breaking that support level on that last little salvo. About 258 was the breakout price heading into the fresh high, and then on Thursday, I guess it would have, Thursday of last week, would have been the test of that level. So I think if it gets back above 258, that's good because it reclaims that support and it has a lot of room to be able to run inside that area, at least another couple of bucks into the close price on Friday. But if it can't hold on to 58, I don't think you'd want to be fighting that one. It's not near the top of my list to look at it for the open, but if the market does make a nice bounce here, this is a stock above 258. I'd be looking for the retracement long back into some of that resistance zone. And if it starts trending into the upside, it's typically not that hard of one to join. Shout out to you, Mr. Westermeyer. Appreciate the super chat and happy new year to you as well. Everybody have a fantastic trading week, which starts with getting your prep in. That's what we're doing now. Make sure you don't fight that trend too often. That's why last week it gave you some good opportunities because there were some good trending stocks, and I think we'll get a little bit more of that. So Boeing, if it's above the 58 in the opening rush, then I think I want to be looking for some longs in that one off the top. But don't look at it's not something I'd be short off the open, off that level. I'd rather have that settle down. Look to some other names first.
All right, so we're already in Apple right now, so here we go. We're in this. We'll see what happens here with Apple to the short side, and then here I'm not going to waste too much time on Boeing. It's 9:21. Actually, we have a little bit of time here, actually. So Boeing right now, Goldman Sachs with a downgrade. For me, that's an instant short. So let's just wait to see here. We want to see a weekly level of 255. If we break that, we should see 250. So for me, I'm only going to look short. You can go over at the on the sticky note and try to find out what's up with that level. But here we go, man. Down 1.4%, so obviously worse than the market. Let's just play the trend. You look like you want to break lower, so I just looked at sort of the daily chart there. That's 255. That very wick bottom there is like 255.20 or so. So I feel like if we take that, then we do float back in, and then eventually Boeing lands around 240s, somewhere in and around there. So, but if you're going to take this stock, you're definitely holding this for $1 plus, one way or the other. This is going to be pretty violent off the open. But for me, I'm just going to continue to watch out for my Apple as we continue to look a little bit short. Remember what I said, a little confusing here to start the day in the morning. What's up, Mr. Love Shack? And thank you so much, Mr. Westermeyer, for all your kind words on Twitter as well. Real see real. So that's good. So thank you so much, Mr. Westermeyer. And let's go back over to the desk as I try to warm these hands up.
Downside here for, what are we at? Yeah, it's 22. The air conditioning's on, Sean, so, he's coming. Unity, downside 2 days in a row here, is pretty ugly if you go back to last week. Piper Sandler jumping on that bandwagon this morning, downgrading to underweight, but they did raise the price target to $35 there. We're still obviously well above that, but another one of those charts that had a huge move into the end of the year due for a pullback.
Yeah, I was telling you off camera, 43% Unity was up in 2023. Of those 43%, 30 came in December, so it was rocketing up towards the end of the year here. Basically, Piper saying that the December bump, the big move up, really leaves a little margin for error, and as a result, they're downgrading it. However, they are still bullish on the sector. With the broader application software for 2024. They named names like Workday, Monday.com, Klaviyo, Global E-Online, all as top ideas going into 2024, Brendo.
Yeah, it's worth noting all of those names that looked like Unity going into the end of the year. Here's another one, Affirm, had a big move down going into the weekend. Here we are as well, gapping down about the same amount, 2%, trying to hold on to 48 here for Affirm.
These two look pretty similar in terms of how I would want to approach them. Unity down to 3.5 versus the 2, and has a $40 level, and it's got the downgrade. Does put it into play at the open. At least in the next 5 minutes, we're going to get. Check that. In the next 3 or 4 minutes, we're going to get some of those imbalances coming through early on the NASDAQ as well. So watch out for that. The market is making a nice bounce. I think that gives you some fade zones. Unity $40, Unity 41.5. Keep it very simple. Just look at previous resistance levels, and if you pop back into there, look for the fades. Affirm, which has been one for the last call it like, well, I mean, it's the last week or so, but I can say last year. It's a lot more fun to be able to do it. Since last year, the 52 level has been a fade zone on a firm. Now you're beneath that 50, and the way that it reacted to 50 on Thursday and Friday. On Thursday, it was a great bounce off the 50 level clean. On Friday, it bounced to 50 and rejected. So I think that 50 is your first spot for a firm. The same way you look at a short on Unity at about a 40 level, you're getting a similar setup there for a firm. Kind of like mirror images of each other. It's interesting we didn't talk about the chips at all, but just going to throw one out there. I don't have a trade for ARM today, but AMD, I don't know if we see that 150. 147 on AMD is where I'm looking. Oh, I got a bad wick on that chart. Let's go to the 3-minute chart. 147, that was Friday's bottom. If there is a rally into that, I'm looking for the fade at 147 on AMD.
There it is, man. The fade kneel is happening as we speak right now. How does 50-cent sound right now for Apple? So, oh, man, we're already up pretty decently here to start the day. Wow, that was good. I didn't think we would get that fill where we did. So when that came in, it was like, okay. So we actually have more shares than we're probably comfortable with in the pre-market. So we're actually out now of just 20% of that trade. We had some more shares down lower. Okay, so that's a good trade to start the day, man. That could be the banger of the day right there for me. Let's wait to see. All right, so a firm right now. All right, this is going to be on the sticky note for a very, very long time, man. We just keep on going with it. So, I mean, this is going to be something that as long as we're under $50, I really want to fade a firm. I still think this has a 3 handle in it, and it might even be next week. So it might even be by the end of this week. All right, so I still want to fade a firm. Any sort of a pop, we do that fade, man. We do that fade dance. There it is right now, Sometimes it just takes, like I said, one trade. So right now we're short Apple. I'm going to get another bid, man. If we can get 75 cents straight off the jump here, we should do that. All right, so Google with a sell, some sell side action coming through. There's Apple, small sell, but did start a downside move there, so that's going to be pretty good. Palantir, which is obviously a stock that I love. I just saw it on here. We're going to wait, man. This is getting close to $15 where we want to buy this name as well. Maybe start to nibble on some of this later on this week. But like I said, things are going to have to get a lot lower for me to start to look to buy anything right now. Now what for Apple? Exactly the Piper. Well, hey man, if you're not in it, then too bad. I don't know what's going to happen. There's going to be lots of do not get FOMO. I was just sort of joking about too bad. I mean, it's just like don't get FOMO. We're already in it. Not everybody can be in all the positions that we have, and some of them you might not want to be in. Some of them you may want to be in, and Apple, I think, is one that you should be in today to the short side. We talked about not looking long. It's on the sticky note for these prices, so we're short already in the money, 50 cents. So far, so good here as this morning is just getting started, man. What's up, Nimit? You want to talk a little bit about Fisker? Look, I didn't even really look at Fisker here today, but Nimit and everybody that we absolutely crushed this one. I'll give you another one, and we'll see if we can do it again today as Fisker continues to make that move higher, but just not today. It's up 4% today. That's great, but that 4% is kind of just like whatever. It can easily just drop right back in, right? The real level you're looking for is 170. So if that's what you're going to ask me, Nimit, we went long 170 on Friday, busted this. Let's go Apple. Apple, guess what, guys? Neil and everybody, we are in the club already right now. So if you didn't have a good New Year's, well, hey, guess what, man? The party has just started right now. There it is. It's multiple dollars now. Let's go to the downside here as we break below $1, and there we go. We're already on it here as we start, man. We're up huge to start the day on Apple. Thankfully, we got that fill, and there it comes into the downside. Was that you, Fabian? Nice. Okay. There goes Apple, man. Nicely done to the downside. We cooking already with gas here. So the number one name on the sticky note starts to pay dirt. Go find it at Trader TV, Sean.
Yes, sir, and the market is starting to follow it as well. So Apple, the market was up, and it's still about 5 candles in a row to the green, but Apple taking it to the downside. I want to get to at least one crypto name that we didn't talk about. That's going to be Coinbase. Coin is not nearly as strong as the other names gapping the upside. It's already red on Coinbase. Watch out for 171. That was Friday's low. This put in a $17 move on Friday, which is, I can't remember the last time Coinbase moved $17 in a day. That's a 10% move. It has moved 10% before, but if it goes higher, 10% is a much bigger deal. 177 on any kind of a pop. If this gets back through 177, I think you don't want to fight it. But Coin, relative weakness compared to some of the other crypto names. With less than 1 minute to go, it's a new year, but that doesn't mean that you want to change up anything. You want to trade, do what worked. Do not change who you are or how you trade just because the calendar happened to flip. Just stick to the same sort of things. We can always have sentiment changes, but stick to what always works for you. Miss Rachel Charles, thank you for the super chat and Happy New Year to you. As we got about 20 seconds to go, as you said, I didn't really see anything that stood out on the imbalances early on, so I don't think that's going to be too much of a catalyst for us here. But watch out for that coin as we get the countdown on. Is 2024 the first trading day of the year? Crypto in play, Boeing in play, a little bit of Apple, and some Tesla delivery as well. In 2 and 1, ring it.
All right. Bang. I mean, honestly, guys, wake up. This is a monster move here for Apple. We just got another piece out at 187. It's starting to move back up, so it's a good out for us right now. We're just going to chill out, watch this market go. There goes Apple right back up to the upside. Watch out for this market. We just tipped down to 16.8 there, 16.840, and now it's Rip City right there. We're out of half of Apple. Let's put our coffee down and start to get a little serious. I just don't want to have too many early positions. We punched into AMD earlier before on last week. We punched into Microsoft a little bit early, but there you go. You just made your year today, John. Good job right there. I hope it was on the Apple short. As I say, real see real. So good job on that one, John.
It looks like Unity is going to the upside. I just saw a firm tank, so we can forget about shorting a pop in a firm for now, as that just dropped a couple of bucks. But $40 level on Unity, it's challenging Friday's lows right now. So at the open, you want to be a little bit patient. It's still relatively thin. The stock is... Oh, it is open. Looks like it might have just opened a couple of seconds ago. Sometimes you get a delayed open on some of these NYSE stocks, but I'm seeing stacked bids above the 40 level. So unless there's weakness at 40, I do not want to be fading into that. We're not going to get a shot at that Rivian. 22.5, good zone. It's already $1 away from it, so 22 looks like the level that we'll have to play off for Rivian. And Mara, that's the other name we didn't really discuss too heavily. Mara coming back into a key resistance, which could turn into support level, that 25.5. Only 10% to the upside. I say only because this was like 16 to 17 at one point. Some weakness coming into this crypto name. That smells great, Sharif.
Yeah, nothing like 13 eggs and what is it, rice? What do you got in there today?
Peas, carrots.
Peas, carrots. Man, this guy's a horse.
And yeah.
Okay, let's go, man. We're going to wait for Boeing to break through 255. That's not happening right now, so we'll have to look away on that one. You know, a straight moonshot right here today so far is Disney, as Disney continues to go. I'm still looking at my list, man. We're still doing what we're doing here and doing it really, really well. Let's look at XOM. So it's a nice move up for Disney right now. XOM was another one. It's already gone. So nice move up for XOM. Again, can't be in everything, but we're definitely in some things with Apple. XOM with a nice move up. We did, think about trading some oil there today. I didn't want to, like I said, I don't necessarily want to. There you go. What's up to John? Thank you so much for that nice talk about Apple. All right, so 101. I don't know. I think we have to let some of these settle down coming through right now. Starbucks. I'm just trying to find some names that are actually moving around a little bit more than what I thought would happen. NEO down to 880. We did talk about that as a possible fill spot as well if it did get back into there. So 880 down to 850 could be something. Here comes Apple right back to the upside. So good thing we're out of half, but it is making its move right back up. Here's Apple, so it doesn't stay down for very long right now. I think it's worth a little bit of a reload short here, guys.
Yeah, you're getting a big move now in Mara to the downside. It just tagged 25.65. 25.5 was going to be the go zone for me. So we're not quite there. I think I take a shot off of that 50 level if we can get it. You're finally getting some kind of a setup here. Oh, there we go. Oxy just pulled back in. Sorry, I have to go there. Was going to talk about Rivian, but Oxy just popped back down into that $60 level. So it made a break early in the pre-market, now back into 60. I'll give it just underneath that 60. As this name getting a bit of a bounce, watch out for Tesla. Uh-oh. Tesla 246 already. This was $5 higher a couple of minutes ago, so that 246 half coming into play. So got the dip buy on Oxy off the $60 level, got some 12. Now looking for Tesla. Needs to hold 246 half area for me to go into this long, as the market is now not tanking, but the market's falling back in. Tank is too strong.
Yeah. All right, we reloaded Apple, but it didn't didn't really go too far down, man. It went like 40 cents or so in the money for us. We reloaded it there at 188.90. It did go down to 188.09. 187.75 or so was the bottom there. So let's go. All right, we're into Tesla long. I don't. We talked about this. Now that we're short Microsoft, or sorry, we're short Apple. I'm not in love with this position right now as the market coming in quite nicely right here. So we have to watch out for this Tesla trade. It's probably not going to be one that I'm going to like here with this market coming in. This is a pre-market bid that we had out there, so we got to watch out for this level. Right now, it looks like it is going to easily break through 245. So watch out for, 244, sort of 40 breaking down to the downside, and then we'll have to get out of the majority of this trade if it does falter in and around there. So we'll try it, which kind of sucks. Didn't really realize that we were in that one. All right, so, well, I mean, I realize it now. But here we go. Nice little move in for Tesla as it's trying to get bought right back up. So let's get something out now on this same. Yes, sir. Here we go again, guys. Yes, sir. Nice little dip buy opportunity in Tesla. Uh-oh. Neil, it's another dollar. We've got 2 trades today, both Dollar Club members, and we are rocking with the moves today. Nicely done there on Tesla. So let's just keep on going, guys. I think we've got this one. Nice bounce on Tesla. There it is. We're long at 245. $1.50 in the money. It's a $1.50 alert right now. Let's just take some out. There it is. We've already hit our day goal. It's 936, man. We told you we'd be a little bit more aggressive this year, and this is exactly what we are. The money's pouring in over here, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, nice bounce over there. Nice bounce over here on Mara as well. 25.5 was the level we liked. It got in off the 6th level. It's pretty clean. 1% bounce already off of Mara, but this is too strong of a downtrend to fight. So I'm just sticking with the get your bounce level, get in, get out, risk 10 to make 25. Right, so it's going to be about 2.5x, and I'm not going to try to hold for any kind of a home run. I do like holding on to Oxy a little bit more. If I think one of these two things is going to be an easier trade to hold all day, I think it'll be Oxy. But look for the bounce play off that 25.5. Treat it however you want. I took that 2-to-1, 2.5-to-1 a little bit, and we'll see if we can get that to continue running. But wow, this market, it's still fading off those lows. And if you're wondering what the heck is going on, you just saw some significant bounces in some Mag 7 names. Not everywhere. 350 on Meta, LOD, double bottom. If 350 doesn't hold on Meta, I think things could get nasty for that particular name. So I'm in and out of in and out of Mara already once. I think that's a good bounce zone. If I see it again, we'll go for that same level. Rivian, I was about to tell you the 22 level, I'm shifting to 22.5. And then both those 2 other trades came in. Still going to be available, that 22 fade here on Rivian. They, of course, of the delivery numbers that were a bit of a disappointment as the market is now low of the day.
And guys, that's the amazing part about all of this. Not only is it a $1 club, but how about $2 club right now for Tesla? So yeah, man, that's it. Our bids sit there. We sit there. We take exactly what we told you we were taking. 245 longs. Were we nervous about it? Yes, we were. Is there anything wrong with that? No. You got to pull the trigger when it's there. And by the way, how about this reload? Like, you guys are right. We are now up, like, decent amounts right here, right now, as there. Wow. Let's just get, I mean, we might not even need to get out of anything on Tesla here. We could possibly have this bottom. Let's just let it rock. Although we only have 25% left of this position. Absolutely incredible. And guess what? Sean can't do it again, can he? He can't go 3 for 3, can he, Travolta? Nah, he can't do that. Look what's going on with ARM, I keep saying that. Affirm right now. There it is again. The call that we made on Affirm for you guys earlier on. There it is. It's another 50 cents in the money right now for Affirm. So we've got 80 cents in the money on Apple, 50 cents in the money for Affirm, and $1.50 in the money now for Tesla. So, again, holidays be damned. When you're confident in what you're doing and you sort of have, freezing hands, and especially if you can't feel the tips of your hands, sometimes the best thing to do is let the winners ride, and that's exactly what we're doing right now. Apple continues to go further downside. Man, that was a great reload. Like I said, just stick with some of the notes. I'm trying to stick with my own notes here and make sure to watch out for this. As there it is, man, Affirm, huge move to the downside. Look at the stocks we're trading. Tesla, Apple, Affirm, right? All a little different. It's funny as the market's at its day low and we're $1.50 in the money long there on Tesla. So stick with the sticky note, man. Stick with us here at Trader TV Live, and hopefully we'll be able to give you some decent ideas. So far so good here as Apple looking to get $1, Tesla going the other way, and Affirm. We could go 3 for 3 all with dollar winners right now as Affirm coming back in, trying to push to its day low. Let's put a bid right here. Why not? Wow, Affirm. We are really, guys, honestly, man, we're making like the month, like someone said earlier, in one day. So here we go, man. Affirm, nicely done to the downside here. As, man, I love January and December and November.
Every trading day is a good day. That's what it's all about. Well, every trading day is a good day because it's new opportunities. You're not going to make money every single day, but that's the name of the game. No team wins 100% of the games they play, but if you don't love playing the game, then you better do something else.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it. So, it is going to be a good day every day we're breathing and able to trade, but we've got to, the market just took out the low. Let me get over to Meta. I'm fading into Rivian as we speak, but Meta just broke that 250 as I was getting into Rivian, just plunged $2 off that 350 level. So I had to be pretty quick to that. Hopefully somebody got that one. I was getting executed into a stock that was on the plan a little bit more aggressively for me, which of course was going to be Rivian based on those deliveries. But the market is flushing. You're looking for the weakness. It is in some of the bigger cap tech names. Under 350 isn't a heck of a lot on Meta as terms of support levels. Let's get to Adara at the desk and come back and look at some more market plunge.
Just bringing this one to you here. CVS actually 1.5% to the upside. Not seeing any news on this one right now. I will keep looking out, but CVS actually moving up right now, guys.
I mean, honestly, like, there's a firm. I'm really gonna get out. I mean, that's the, what we're doing right now is kind of just trying to, sometimes a loss for words. Apple, short, right? Affirm, short. Those are the two that we have. And then we actually we didn't talk about it today on the sticky note, but it's Tesla with the long that we talked about. We actually did that work there for Tesla. Just make sure you go find it, man. Apple's now $1.15 in the money. I probably shouldn't have even got out of Affirm. But like Tesla, huge move. Again, we talked about only having 20% or 25% left, so that's what we do have on it. And I mean, Apple was really the easiest trade all day. To me, there's nothing set up any better than that one. This is why we are going to go 3 for 3 again. Like Neil said, you can't go perfect every day, but we can keep trying. And there it is. Look at this move, man. Huge move to the downside. It's not only that. It's like not only were we wrong right the first time, but then able to get the reload. And look where we are right now for Apple. Let's just put a bid out there and like ring registers at this point. It's really starting to drop back in for us. So Apple with the move down, but so is Tesla's coming back into that level as well. So you're not going to get everything, but what we can do is show you that there's money to be made all over the place. And as long as you're disciplined and able to, capture, and like Neil said, just look at your numbers. Just stop lying to yourself and just look at your numbers, right? Like if you're not,
that's the key. Like, what are your winners?
Yeah,
losers?
Yeah, exactly. So look at your numbers. If you're doing well, if you had a good November, December, keep doing what you're doing. If you're unable to make money in those months, you got to switch it up. And I told you guys that we were, right, really ready to do some damage coming through at the beginning of the year because of the confidence that we had for how we traded in November and December. So we can't show our P&Ls. We've decided not to do that, but you guys can take our words for it. I'd tell you the kind of months we're having, how many red days, how many green days, things like that. And then you yourself can either lie to yourself and say, oh, I'm doing really well, and keep going with it. Mistake. Be disciplined. Like the market's never going to be as easy as you think it is. It's always going to be more difficult than you think it is. So be patient with what you're doing and just look at your own P&Ls. If it's doing well, add more shares. If it's not, come back a little bit. If you don't have ideas today, pair them off. You don't have to go hard every day. We had some great ideas today and we rang the registers on them. Unfortunately, we got out of Affirm way too early, but everything else is fine. And there's look at Tesla. Exactly what we thought. Like we got out. We're not in Tesla anymore. It broke the bottom. We're out. So we don't have that hit on our books. We're going to stop. We're not at our unrealized highest spot, but we're doing pretty good. Got out of some Apple as Apple keeps coming to the downside. Here's Affirm, and again, look, I don't hold this all the way to the bottom. It hits some levels, so we get out. It hit the bottom of the day. We got the top of the day and the bottom of the day. So we're going to take that out. Thank you so much, Tisha, and everything for the support, man. I mean, this is why, you guys can see, and this is what it's all about, man. This is how trading works. It's back and forth all the time, as we keep saying. Some days are great days, some days are not, and today just happens to be the former. Yeah, that's right, the former.
Sorry, just got to get a couple orders out there. Shoot, I just got bottom wicked on Oxy, as I'm going to get more shares of Rivian, but it just got bottom wicked on Oxy. I'm always going to have a stop, a hard stop at an even dollar level. I don't put it at the even. I put it at 95 just to give it a little bit of extra room. Now, that's a 17-cent hit, but as long as it's holding on to 60, I still like the stock. I said it was one that I could hold on to. Well, it's also going to be one that I want to jump back into if we get that chance. So the $60 level, I haven't seen buyers above it just yet. You're still looking at minimal lots there every time it goes over 60. That's not enough to get my juices flowing to jump back into the long, but I do still like that. The energy names have been relatively strong. There haven't been any other longs that have looked terribly good this morning, as the market is looking pretty heavy. We go to Adara at the desk.
We just got in the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI final here. So it came in at 47.9 compared to the forecast there of, the forecast there of 48.2. So we did come in slightly lower than expected. Qs don't seem to be reacting too much to this. This is the QQQ here, guys.
The Qs are doing what they were doing already. The ES consolidating off bottoms. The Qs making fresh lows. We're now back at the Thursday, what do you want to call it, that 2 o'clock quadunk afternoon nonsense off a bond thing. We're at that low pretty much right now. So I reloaded Rivian in lieu of that. We can almost forget about Meta. Hopefully if you're really fast and Meta's the stock you're looking at, that 350 break was pretty clean. I'm looking for a pop back in. I threw my order to be able to get any kind of a pop back into the 49 area. I think we got to start thinking about 47s. Unity was super strong at the open. It's now back underneath 40. So I wanted to see the sellers off that 40 level. That's happened. It was too strong at the open to just sit in front of a moving freight train. Wanted to see the backside of the trade, and now you're looking at that backside. If it gets back into that 40, looking for the fade here on Unity Software. And as far as AMD goes, we talked about some of the chip names to look to fade some pops. I'll go ahead and cancel that order. We're not going to get anything near 147 or 145. I think you start shooting for VWAP as we are close to halfway to 10 o'clock. So this opening range, still lots of room to go. VWAP about 143 for resistance on AMD. The other one in that category, you said it accidentally. I like it in a general sense. I own our ARM in the long term, but it's down 5%. It's the weakest of the chip names that I've seen so far today. But I like what I'm seeing off the $71 area. It's holding support as the market is making fresh lows, which is typically a good sign. 70 and 68 are bigger levels to the upside. I know that must be Randy lurking behind me.
Randy, we're having an incredible day. How's your day?
Good.
Coffee?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, appreciate it.
It's funny when I do it, Fabian. My show, damn it.
It's what it's there for. What's the point of having it if you don't use it?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. It's because I put to my
No, I know, but it's
yeah, it's just funny.
it looks better.
All right, thanks for the talk about Tesla going back up to the upside. Unfortunately, we did get stopped out. Well, I stopped myself out on that, right? So that's it. It broke there. It looks like we will buy pretty much the low or sell the low of the day, which is fine because Tesla right now is actually my number 2 stock despite a firm absolutely falling on its face there. You guys want winning trades. I mean, this is a winning trade right here. So I hope that you guys are, whoopsies, definitely enjoying yourself here today as the market is a fun one here, at least it looks like it so far. Let's just see if that's going to be the case moving forward here now. I don't know. A firm could get it reloaded back to the upside. I'm willing to do that if and when that does come through. But for right now, we'll have to wait to see what exactly a firm is talking about. And for right here, I just got to get out of. I actually tried to look at. Hold on, I'll show you guys. I didn't get any fills here. I was trying to look at DD here, but it's not moving around. It's nothing. I was trying to find some Chinese names that might be moving around here a little bit. Alibaba could be something for sure. It's a nice little rebound in Apple a little bit off 186. So,
I only say Baba because 75.
Yeah, Baba 75. That was a level. Oh, my number lock is off? Man, crazy. Hopefully I can, there we go, put one at 186.07. That bottom of the day was 186 flat. So we'll have to wait to see if there's anything happening over there with that number. But right now, look, man, we're going to go 3-0. So we'll just wait. I want to be very, very patient here to see what we're doing. We're in the, Apple, which is absolutely falling down. We'll wait to get some circulation back. But for right now, AMD down 4.5%. And remember, I said to you guys earlier by accident, as Neil mentioned, I mentioned it by accident, when ARM was here at $93, $94, and I was like, although I think ARM's going downside, some of the names that have been the most aggressive over the last week or 2 weeks, of just getting money taken out of them. It's not that there's anything wrong with the stock. It's just like people are liquidating a little bit here today, right? Which is why that we picked on Apple. I mean, as soon as we get some sort of a negative story on Apple, you know that I'm here for that. And then there's the short. It's pretty simple. These are things, this is why we're 3-0, honestly. I can go 0-3. It's just like when the ideas work out, you got to put the shares on board there. And so far they have. I just don't know about, see, like we were just bidding 07s there on Apple. You know, it went to 09. So it's like, some of these moves are getting ready, I feel like, potentially for a bounce, especially when you're looking here at the NASDAQ, as that rate now is just looking at this level. I didn't even realize this. This is from the 20th. So you're giving back the whole Santa Claus rally, obviously, today, and taking out now the last week and 2 weeks, potentially, of December. If you go back into this area, this is where I think the NASDAQ has any chance of stopping. Until then, I don't think it does. That's 16,650. So another 100 handles down. If you're catching longs now, I think you may be catching a problem potentially. So let's just wait to see what happens here on the market. And it could also
names are still stable though.
Yeah, exactly. It could also be a bouncing spot. I mean, that's why, this is what the market is. That's why we sit here, we trade what we trade, and we just do that. 45.3 right now hitting for Bitcoin.
Yeah, I only say they're stable because they're all to the upside. Now you're starting to get some buying in on Oxy. I just the second it showed buyers above 60, I threw the order back in, trying to get some 3s. I'll go for some 6s and 7s if I can get those as well. Rivian gave a couple of fills to the downside. We reloaded Rivian on the next available pop. It's early for VWAP, but it also showed you the opening range top there at 2180 as well. So I shorted out in front of that, was able to get some 50s and some 45s as we're back into that one. Before we go to Adara, I just want to go over to Mara. We like the bounce off of 25.5. One thing that I've changed is I do not want to be fighting trend. Scalped that trade. It gave 1%. And then it comes back in. Do not reload it. Nothing. Just get in, get out. The trend is to the downside. I want to fade off 25.5 now on Mara as we go to the desk with Adara. Thanks.
Oh, man. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, Moderna here running to the upside, up about 8.5%. mRNA. Two catalysts here. So for one, they released a shareholder letter saying that the launch of the RSV vaccine in 2024 and a combo flu COVID vaccine as early as 2025. They're looking to see sales growth in 2025. They also received an upgrade to outperform from Oppenheimer, up over 8.5% right now. mRNA, guys.
That's a name that I want to buy. We did buy some Pfizer, of course, down near that 26, but that Moderna near 85 or whatever.
9.5. Pfizer's flying too.
Yep. Pfizer's great, but Moderna, I feel like, damn it. But anyways, you know what's flying right now? I can't believe we'll slap a fail on like the second most, netted stock here. But we'll slap a fail right now on this for dumping out a Tesla. Like I said, man, a little bit of a miscommunication between me and Elon there. By the way, we should have I should have, oh shit. Hello? Must have been her down there buying. What a surprise. I like when me and Aunt Kathy are on the same page, that's for sure. It's definitely gives us some fruitful victories, that is for sure. All right, so 186, 20s now. We missed, oops, sorry, I'm on the wrong stock. I missed that Apple. I keep buying it, keep waiting for 186 flat. I don't, we're $2 in the money. That's hard enough to find stocks to move that much anyways. And and again, it doesn't matter how much it's in the money. It's just a matter of what your P&L is, like we keep saying. So let's take another piece out right here and then just not have to, there it is, and not have to worry about it. So there goes Apple, man. And to me, the easiest trade, just continuing to short this name, downgraded. We know that there's some negative catalysts here for Apple. We don't need to talk about the watch or anything like that. You can go find the podcast right now. Go find that Fabian. Where's that podcast button if we have it? Just send me the Send me the dig on that, and then I'll put it in so we can keep doing it, so I don't have to bother you. Ramin is off on vacay or something this week, so I want to say shout out to her and shout out to Fabian. He'll be manning it all by himself for a few days, so that's why I don't want to keep bugging the guy. But make sure you do check out the podcast, our most watched podcast yet. So go find it out. A couple of good discussions there right now.
Watched and listened. It is available
both ways.
Yeah, you can watch it on. Well, for sure you can watch it on Spotify and YouTube.
You can't on Apple.
Okay, I don't. I get it through Spotify, so I know you can watch visually through Spotify. If it turns out on Apple that you can't, it's available anywhere you want.
Yeah,
you can consume it any way that you want to. I am now back into Oxy. I'm still going to hold on to the Rivian short. I like it. But Oxy, if it can hold on to this pre-market low, the opening range bottom, now 59.92. So get in with a little bit less so that I can get maybe another load closer to 60 and then hold that bottom. It has been the oil names holding up. This is up 0.6% and holding. For now, I saw CVX holding as well as the market continues its downward trend. 2150 I just saw on, oh my goodness. Okay, Meta is now at 344. It's like $6 now off that 350 drop to the downside. This is what we quickly went to. You're going to always trade the things that are part of your plan first. So when I saw that level come in, I was trading Rivian. It just is what it is. Meta support gone there. I think, no way, 338. I don't think it necessarily gets to 338, but that would be the level that I would at least think about some kind of a long. So the only new trade for me, holding short on Rivian, that's about 1% in the money right now. And Oxy, we are long. If you like the long, I don't know what else you're looking at. Maybe you can go buy the VIX or something on a day like today. But back above the 60 level on Oxy. I'm going to get some out in front of the quarters because that was the opening range high, and then see if we can't reload this. Everything else looking very weak, very red. Unity was strong for a hot minute. Couldn't even get to VWAP. It's back into 39 even as well. People are taking their profits to start the year, but that doesn't mean there aren't opportunities. Good trading opportunities to the south side, no question about it. Apple, if my chart's right, has a quad bottom at 186 right now. The way these stocks are dropping, you look at Meta, you look at Apple, you look at Microsoft as well, just to talk about some of the big cap tech. Microsoft down 2.5% as well. There is not a green candle. Come to my chart if we can. There is not a green candle this morning on Microsoft. You already saw what the chart looked like on Meta. There are likely to be some bounces, particularly Microsoft. The 50 period on the daily is $3 from here. I'd probably take a shot at things like the 50 period moving average. You can also throw that 364 here going into the middle of December. That's a key price level. So I do think you have some shots at some bounce levels, but those are scalp trades as far as I'm concerned. Energy longs fine, everything else, just be nimble about it. I was in and out of Mara really, really quickly, and you could say maybe too quickly on the bounce play in Mara, because I could have held it for another 15, 20 cents. But because I knew it was a scalp bounce from the get-go, we're away from that and looking for a short re-entry on the other side of the 25.50 level. So Rivian now at the low of the day. I want to make sure we get a fill at that low, 21.25. And the other stock, oh my goodness, Lucid 4. Please don't tell me that broke.
I don't even want to buy Rivian yet, but that's a good move, man. I was with you. I still like Rivian for the long haul. I just, it's so stupid.
Who are you going to bet on? I'm not betting on Lucid.
No, Tesla, I think.
Well, no, okay, fine.
Every time I put $1 into Rivian, I feel like I should put $2 into Tesla, because it's just like, the biggest and the baddest seem to always win, it seems like, around here.
I just don't want to be all in one sector.
No, I don't. Well, I'm not. Yeah, I'm definitely not all in. But again, Tesla with 102%. The big names last year was NVIDIA with 239% upside. Meta Meta. Wow. I mean, I know Sharif was in this because I know this guy made some coin on that one. Congratulations on that, Sharif. We all got out too early, as on Meta. That is for sure. But there's a saying that, of course, I made up, and that was, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. Of course, shout out to Jim Cramer on that one. And you can't get too greedy on some of these positions. That is for sure. But I remember pounding the table, man, when Meta was there sub-hundy, and we've still got a lot in our account there as well. But it was not a swing trade. So, what goes up goes down. Like you buy some at 300, you get some more at 100. So it's kind of like that's just sort of how it goes.
In 20 years, when it's at 700, nothing matters, right? So it's,
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I said, like my first Microsoft position was $30, and I'm still long. My Apple position is like $61 long or something. It's just stupid, but that's just because that's what happens when I started investing my own money and managing it myself. When I first took, earlier than when I first took this job, but I first took this job straight out of university at 21 or 22. So to buy stocks from then is like, it's not rocket science. But that's just, it's like what I keep telling Obi and everybody out there, especially if you're young, and this is again, just financial advice for me who is uncertified. And that is that you just want to keep buying the best names that you believe in, and I feel like I'm doing the same thing as in trading. Sometimes I'll lose on some positions for sure, but in the long run, as long as you trust, that's what I said. Do you remember? I said this last week. If you made money in November and December doing something, just continue doing it. And then, once it stops working, you go the other way. Well, dollar cost averaging and buying some of the best names at, some of these prices has definitely worked out for me over the history. And again, I held through obviously 2008, like some of the prices to get, BAC long down at $5 when Warren Buffett was sitting in his bathtub there. I still remember that story as he came in and got all these warrants and everything for BAC to the long side and came in and basically saved those guys back during the financial crisis. And then GE as well was another name I remember buying so super low. And it's just like, sometimes you get these distressed assets at a certain time. And we had actually Sharif's guy come through, shout out to Alfred, who was talking similarly to that. Buying the best companies. It was Archer Daniels Midland, I think, was something that he really liked due to the fact that everyone eats and they don't stop. So, despite that, you can get some good value in some of those names as well. Shout out to Sharif, of course, and Alfred. Thank you, Sharif, for bringing that dude on. I think he could come on again. I think that was a lot of fun for Alfred. Maybe on Sharif's show, maybe on mine, I'll poach him. All right, let's go back over to the desk. I believe I'm going to go with Adara, and I'm going to go with happening now at the big desk.
Yes, it is happening now. We are moving to the downside here, continuing on the NASDAQ, down about 1.4% right now. We do have crypto a little bit higher with Bitcoin hitting above 45,000. We also did get the global S&P manufacturing earlier today that was slightly lower than the estimates. That's what we have going on right now. Some more economic data later in the week as well. In terms of individual stocks moving, Boeing getting a little bit of a recovery, still down 1.5% after getting removed from Goldman Sachs conviction list. We also have Piper Sandler downgrading Unity, down about 3.5% right now, getting downgraded to underweight, but a price target increase from $20 to $35. And Moderna here up over 10%, up 11% right now, getting an upgrade from Oppenheimer and releasing a shareholder letter saying that they're expecting profitability into 2025. Brought to you by Surge Trader, where traders can get a funded trading account up to $1 million and keep up to 90% of the profits. The program has simple rules, no time limits. Just go to surgetrader.com/TTV and use the promo code TTV for 10% off.
Thank you very much there, Adara. The market making its second bounce. The first one was in the pre-market, second bounce. First one since the open is coming back in here. I just got Rivian. Oh no, I did not get filled up there. Rivian went right back into resistance at 2180 and popped back down. You know what, if it goes up there, this will now be a third time. This is the third time, but that'll be the fourth because it already pulled back off this last move. I don't think I need to get it after just missing that fill. It seems to like this 40-cent range. That's a good point and a half, down 7.5%. Rivian today. And they're not alone. There's a lot of other weakness in the market. We talked about the Chinese ADRs, but we did not really key in on them. I said Alibaba 75 and didn't show it to you. Alibaba made a hard bottom at 75 even. It was 1 wick underneath that. It's trying to stair-step it back into the upside. When this thing makes a bottom at 930, oftentimes you do get a retracement back into some of those pre-market levels. So I think, looking at that 75, now that we've calmed down at the open, that can be a place to join. I was thinking shorts, but this never popped to give you a shorting opportunity at all. Occidental, This is now trading toward the pre-market high, 60.5. I did stop out the first time trying to get pre-market lows, hold underneath 60, able to get a better price second time through. If it cannot break 60.50, I'll trail this one back out through the 40 level. Just want to get a test of that 50. You're also at the 50 period moving average on the daily. So if it can start to break away from that, I think there's a second leg potentially here on Occidental. I want to sort of pop here in Meta. We talked about that 350 break. Got to be real quick to be able to get that. It's starting to get into VWAP on this market bounce. That'll be 347. So looking for a VWAP retrace here on Meta to the downside.
All right, Meta. If Rivian's down 9%, how much do you think Ford is down?
3?
No, up almost 1%. I mean, GM is ripping. Ford is ripping right now. So, I mean, as most of these names continue to go to the upside, it's Ford up 0.5. It's GM up 0.6 right now. And it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 or 8 candles in a row straight to the upside. Look at what GM looks like right here. I'm into Ford. So maybe we'll just talk a little bit about that one right now. Okay, so there it is. It's a nice move back up to the upside here for Ford. And it's just running into where I think could be some issues right here around 25 into 30. So I just don't know. Let's see if Ford has enough to take this out. I'm going to wait for 30 break. So there it is right there, Ford 30s. Let's see if it takes that out. I'll short it until there. Like I said, man, we are going to go, like we mentioned here, we are going to go 3 for 3, trying to get this going, though, back to the upside with downside now with Ford. And we'll just have to wait to see where we go. Could be an interesting name. If it pulls back in, if we take out 30, then we're gone. And we will put an L on the board. So right now, we're going to short Ford. I'm getting a little bit more near 25s. And then that's pretty much going to be it. I mean, here's the 20-period moving average for Ford. 20-period chart for Ford, running into the 50-period moving average and then running into the 200-period moving average. So this is kind of where we get our 30s from, 1230. But then if you're really going to think about taking out levels, it's really got to get above 40 here. So that's going to be a little bit of a pause for concern for me. Let's see if we can deal with it. Ford up to 30 bucks. Hey, man. It sucks to short names that are working, okay? So, especially to the long side. So this is going to be one of those trades. It's kind of like how confident we were in a firm up here. We knew we didn't like the trade. So when it busted back up to the 50 period right there, it was an easy short and then it was a dollar club and then we're out of it. So we did give up a little bit too much there by not holding on to a piece for a firm, but just to go back and forth about some of these stocks, we know a firm is weak. So it's much easier to short something that's weak. By far, right now, Apple's the #1 stock, right? And the thing is that, again, it's because we had confidence knowing what the stories were with Apple and that it was weak. So, again, let's wait to see here where we go. But Ford, taking out some levels, contrary to the market. So this is the one that we have to be careful on. We are waiting at 25 to get another piece. Hopefully we can do that. And then 30 is the last stop on that. Our average price will be around 25 is what we'll try to get it to. So 5 or 6 cent hit here for Ford I think is reasonable. But maybe going short here is not great. And I don't know if you saw some of these names, but shout out to T-Trades. Yeah, shout out to some of you, Jay Lee, I believe, and some of you that are in Coinbase that had monster dollar club winners on this one, man. 176 all the way to 162. Hello. You guys definitely nailed that, man. And a shout out to all of you that were talking all about this in the chat, man. It was going to be a crypto day, and that is for sure. Congratulations, anybody short Coinbase.
Yeah, they came in with coin relatively weak compared to like the Riots and the Maras and Bitcoins of the world. I want to get to Pfizer because Pfizer is running up. We weren't just joking around about it. Like Pfizer up 3% and running. I've zoomed my chart back out so you can see this on the 15. There was this move through $30 going back to the beginning of December. The next day, that day and the next day, 29.65 was resistance. Why does that matter? Because you're pouring right into that level, and it goes right into that exact level for resistance. If it pops that, there is room on the chart to 30 and then 30.5. So I'd be looking to buy dips on this as a relatively strong name, as opposed to fading it. You could always fade this, maybe as a VWAP retracement. I'm going to stay away from that, and I think let a strong stock be strong, trying to just join the trend the most we can. I did miss that reload on Rivian. It goes right back into 2180. Pops down, gives you 2140s again. So VWAP, opening range top, more or less the exact same things. Yes, SM, Moderna is also moving as well. It just so happens, how did I go to Mara there? Oh, you know what? In my head, I went Mara when I meant to go mRNA. Is what it is. Like Sean said, it's been a crypto morning. But Moderna also moving in addition to Pfizer. It just so happens that Pfizer had the key levels that I liked a little bit better. So that's, you're going to pull up a chart. Both of them are moving to the upside. Moderna, a bigger percentage move. I just like the levels on Pfizer a little bit more. And then going back over to Oxy, I'm going to look for a reload. It could be off VWAP. Maybe we get back into that 60 half. It has looked pretty strong this morning. And as far as Meta goes, that was the other name that came in late. I'm looking for a VWAP retrace here. Doesn't seem to want to get there. 345, bit of a bounce back and forth. You're about $1.50 away from VWAP. So if you short this spike because it's a consolidation, it would have to be a really tight stop. I'd much rather have the VWAP retrace like planned at a 347. So I'm going to try to be patient with Meta here, but that was a big move through 350 and a big level that got taken down. Until it says otherwise, I'd rather be looking short here on Meta given that weakness.
Right. All right. So we're not really. I mean, we still have $1.50, which is really nice. I mean, so we'll slap around a little bit here today for Apple. But I'm trying to build into a new position on Ford, which we haven't really gotten any shares. We're trying to get, well, we've gotten shares, but there it is. Okay, so now we got a 25 fill, so that's a little bit better. I don't even have the stop in there. I was thinking about a break through that 30. If this market gets, this is what I'm saying, like if the market gets going, then you know, we don't really want to be in this name for too long. So let's go 1232. I'm not even going to screw around with it. Well, actually, we'll get out at 75% if it does take that level. So this is, again, like we said, trying to be confident, trying to sit in these trades. The only thing is that this is now, and remember what I said about like understanding everyone can just look at their own and figure out if strategies are working. I said yesterday or on Friday that, you know, you really got to feel when things are sort of getting out of hand a little bit, and when maybe you shouldn't be like back to the well or trying to figure it out and being stubborn sometimes about some of your trades. So I don't want to do that with Ford. So right now, this is, and I'm fully acknowledging this is going against my strategy of playing momentum, trying to find names that are with the market. We did fantastic early, man. Apple, Affirm, Tesla, all fantastic. And the problem with Tesla is honestly, we had the bottom of the day, and then we also got out at the bottom of the day. And right now, you're up to 250. Like, we would be through the moon if we'd still had anything like this on board. But right now, we did get stopped out of our last 25% there on Tesla, which is going to be the only red mark on here. But at the end of the day, right now, we're worried about the trades that we have on, not the trades that we've already made. So let's just go back over to AMD. Look at this one. And another one that we wrote down, again, we wrote it down in the note. It's not actually on the sticky note, and that was, let's just stay net short AMD until we break above that 150. It's the same. Oh, we must have talked about it on the early show. It's the same trade as Apple. It's the same trade as NVIDIA. You're at a key level. If you're nervous about anything, the opportunity to get out was earlier this morning, man. You could have taken, and we said this in the pre-market, you could have taken a $5 haircut, something like that. You get out at 144, 143, when the high is 150. So it's like you look back, it's like, oh my God, AMD's crashing. But like, unless you got this ultimate high of like 150, 151, you're still fine. You're still in the pocket here. So that's where I was saying the best strategy in this situation might have been, if you're nervous, to get out around that 145, 144, 143, 140 right now. You know, and then the only thing you're missing is the $10 upside, which is still huge. It's 5%, right? You're going to miss that 5% upside, but you also may close your eyes and be able to buy this thing back at 120 on Friday. So, like, you know, there's going to be opportunities on both sides of the aisle. And speak about that, it's also an election year. So we'll have to see what happens with China and some of the rhetoric that comes through on that one. As we know, Apple, I mean, I'm looking at AMD right now, but Apple definitely sort of in the crosshairs whenever we talk about importing, exporting, and, you know, some of where the economies in this world lie. And we know that they've gone over to India and things like that to step away a little bit from China. But I still am, as I think most of us are, a little worried about what may come through in this following election cycle, and then what this means for trade and everything like that. So, you know, just easy to find catalysts when the market goes down. And I think we have a couple good ones in some of these stocks that we traded. So that's what we're looking for right now. ASML, pretty interesting, that's for sure.
There was news on ASML, but it was.
Yeah, it was.
It's not a nothing burger.
Machines.
Yeah, it was just a couple of their machines got. Essentially, the Dutch government basically saying they cannot export a couple of their machines specifically to China. They said it wouldn't be material to their earnings, but they've been getting the wrong end of the stick for a while when it comes to essentially what everybody is doing at this point, which is not allowing China to have certain advanced chip technology. Now, NVIDIA's managed to weather the storm. ASML, they'll probably be fine. AMD's down 5% at the low of the day. And that 140 level that was so good in the other direction, which was a breakout from 140, that's like this last line in the sand here. Sure, it's not the last line in the sand, but it is the current line in the sand. You've got almost a triple bottom down there. Tesla, on the other hand, has got a triple top at 250 right now. Sorry. On a 3-minute chart, this is actually now 5 times its tag 250 on a 3-minute chart. If this thing gets above 250, it never set up at the price that I like, which was 246.5. It did so maybe a little bit later, but the 250 breakout, that looks pretty clean. It's just the market looking too weak. You got to stick. You almost want to stick to the shorts, with the exception of energy. I'm still waiting on Meta at VWAP, but even myself here, if you just took this lower high short with a tight stop that I was discussing, you would have got the dollar. And I'm here trying to be patient on that name. Patience is not necessarily the way to go when it comes to finding the trend. You want to get the stair step wherever it happens to be. So Unity, that's at the low of the day. If it happens to punch back up, I'll short the next available pop, down 5% when it was up, and it's still got at least $1.50 until the next support level. So if it cannot hold on the bottom, I'm not shorting the absolute low of the day, but the next available pop, I am going to look for that short. We're still in the 2 names that have worked, long side Oxy, short side Rivian. I will reload it if I get that chance. And then I want to shout out to everybody in the chat for pumping their names in there. Ben Ruggiano saying PayPal's a bit of a bid. I've seen a lot of people talking about NVAX and AMC, all that kind of stuff. I actually prefer trading in Square to PayPal, but if you're trying to line up a couple of names here, it's load. Okay, come on charts. I know it's a new year, but you can come back in and load up. There we go. PayPal with a decent sized bounce. Let's go to the 3-minute because it's actually working. Back above VWAP and try and take out the high. This is where you look for relative strength. The market's at the lows, and this is battling higher. I like those for longs. I just happen to think the energy names are better. And remember Pfizer, that 29.65, it's already at 29.90. This is an absolute rocket ship. I think finding a way to join it is a better way to go. So Pfizer's strong, Moderna up 9% or 10%, something like that. Those are your real longs because there are highs of day when the market's at those lows.
All right. Yeah, just getting a little anxious. Like I was just saying to everybody in the chat, man, we've had a pretty generous morning here so far. Thank you so much, Adam, as well, man. I hope you're having a great start to the year as well. So it's just like this is just what it's about, man. It's just about, you know, trading and making sure that you know, you keep the money in your pocket, and that's really what I'm going to be all about here. We're now $2 back into the money on Apple, which is good. Ford not doing anything. Oh man, what's Affirm doing? Let's just go back to another name here. So Affirm's trying to break a little bit lower right now as well. We could get back into this name. This has been a positive name, obviously, for us, but now you're just trying to break below VWAP again and just kind of hover around. So it's just, again, I wish the market was giving me a little bit more of a guideline here on what to do. I still think it's short. That was a great shorting opportunity, that little pop-up, now that we've seen that. Yeah, you know. Yeah, unfortunately, Adam, I don't, you know, day trader, prop trader, we've always talked about this. I don't know one that looks at like, it's good that you're up 3.1%, but again, it's not, for us, it doesn't really matter because I pretty much have unlimited capital to throw at a lot of this. So it doesn't really, I just look at it from a net basis on a daily basis, so I don't really know. All right, so Affirm could be reloaded. That's Apple. Let's take a quick look at Alibaba because this is going to be another name there that we were trying to look at. 76, so that's going to be great. And again, we talked about that. Neil mentioned earlier that it was at 75, great level. Easy one to buy because you had your out and it went up again. See, this is what I mean. Sometimes easy trading is just like buy something that dips in, have your out, and just boom to the upside. So probably another look down there in and around 75 if you do like it. But look at BABA down 3%, much more aggressive to the downside than the market. I should have just Apple's really cooking, man. The problem is Ford is not moving, so I got to find something else, and I'm going to do it. There was one other name quickly, Roblox. That was a name that we know we want to get long on, but now it's down to 44. I didn't realize it was at $44, so that's good. It's good for me because I was unable to buy some over the last little while. 42.50. 43, trying to break 44. Maybe we zoom this out a little bit to see if there's any other levels. Again, like I need something that's maybe closer to the 50-period moving average than this. But yeah, Roblox looks like we got a buy at 43.50 against 43. That very bottom's 42.80. Let's see if Roblox gets into 43 low, and then we'll look to buy some more. So that's not, or not buy some more, buy some here for the day. That is not horrible there. John just shorted Pfizer into January
30s.
Yeah, you got January 19th put, so that's going to be good.
Oh, like a.
And then just quickly, I just saw someone say about HUD 8. Look, man, HUD 8 is like something that I'm a little bit triggered on because we got out in and around $13, and then it went to $17. So, oops, this is HUD8.Toronto. When I called up and that was at 18, I was like, oh my God. Okay, so 1385 right now, downside for HUD. So there it goes. So that's making me feel a lot better despite crypto. And we nailed this trade, man. We were long, not down here. This is a reverse split. We made, I remember it was 17. I remember when I cashed out, it said on my account that I made 17.9%. I was like, great, like that's nice. Again, I think it must have been a new feature. I don't really notice that normally. But there it is, nicely done up to the upside. And then I was feeling bad. We got out right in and around here, like I was saying, 1280 something. I still feel bad. We're still missing money. It ripped all the way up to 1890 there before falling all the way back in. So right now, if you're looking to buy some HUD 8, you're kind of at that bottom of the split right now. So that, you know, I mean, the bottom of the split's there, but this is where we split and we made that move down. And then I was like very confused by this kind of movement. So we got out. But if you're looking to buy, you know, back in, if I was like mad at myself, that I would do something right here at 1250, but no. All my crypto money from now on is going to be in the coins themselves. I still have a small position in Coinbase, but I did sell HUD 8. And I do have some GBTC and equivalents here in Canada. So, but that's all. That's all Bitcoin related, right? So
yeah, there's an ETF in Canada. It's been there.
I might not even have GBTC.
BTCC.
Yeah.
The Purpose ETF, which has been here for I want to say 3 years here, so we can have that in our registered account. So a lot of, I mean, I don't know, I do, and I think of most of us on the show, I don't want to speak for everybody, are invested in that, which is essentially the direct coin. Before we go to the small cap recap, Oxy is again at the high here, this 60.50. If it can't take it, my trail is now when I wanted it breaking 60.40 and then hold through the high of the day. If it can't break it, the trail is now in at that 60.40 level. The energy names have been relatively strong. As we go to the desk, it's time for the small cap recap, and there's been a bunch of them moving around today, though we've covered mostly the broader market.
Quite a few small cap runners today, including Longboard Pharmaceuticals. LBPH is the ticker for this one. They've announced some positive data from their clinical trial for seizure treatment. So this is one very positive, up about 180% right now. We also have CDIO, Cardio Diagnostics, moving to the upside after receiving some coverage news from American Medical Association for their AI-powered coronary heart disease test. Last but not least, Polished, POL on the Amex. This one is up almost 100%. It's been halting, a couple times. 2 million float in this one, guys.
So this Ford just keeps on.
Trucking?
That's a good one, but yeah, trucking. Yeah,
Well, somebody else is.
Someone else said that?
No, that's not Ford's line. Keep on. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it makes sense. I like that line. That's a good one. But yeah, it does keep on trucking back up to the upside right now. So we may have to stay away. Just real quick, I'll throw it back over to Neil in a minute. But Disney, so this stock is actually positive today, which is kind of a little bit of a shocker, I think, to anybody that knows about Disney. But look at this, man. You want to talk about a bar-coded level. And I know this was in the pre-market, so generally speaking, I don't look at that for anything. But still, we came right back into 89.70, 89.80 and held it. So I just wanted to say, like, if the market holds, which it's trying to do right now, this is probably a good level, man, for Disney. So I really want to watch out for that back into 90.04, 90.05 or so for Disney. What's up, crazy Stitch lady? She's loving Disney. So that's a nice move. What's up, crazy lady? I don't like to use the word crazy, but it's your name, so that's that. All right, so that's what's going on there. And then one other name in the chat there was AMD, looking for people asking, I guess, me if I'm looking for a bounce or if you guys are looking for a bounce. I mean, you're at that right price. Sometimes it doesn't even matter, you know, what these levels look like. You're at 150 or 140. You know, so it's $10 straight down in 2 days. Could be a spot to be bought back up. The low of the day is what, 139.50? What did I just see there? 139.50. So yeah, so taking a shot here at 140. I'm going short only today. So I don't think about going long right now. Yeah, for me to go long, it has to be above the 50 period. We have to take out that high. So if that happens, great. And I'll sacrifice this 140 long for AMD. But if you like it, hard to say there's anything wrong with holding this for 50 cents, man. Because taking a 140, then using 139.50 as your out, if you think this market's going to bounce, this is probably one of, if not the most aggressive name out there, period.
Well, ARM's down 5.
Yeah, I know, but an actual stock that, like, you know, we watch AMD and trade it, and I know there's a lot. ARM is aggressive as well, but AMD, a big name
it's
at
a more
a
standard
big level. Yeah, it's a good name. Yeah, standard. Yeah. But what is?
It's a better it's more volume.
The thing about ARM is, I think ARM could bounce. I think ARM's first to bounce higher. Like, I think more money. I think more money will come into ARM first, then AMD, because I just feel like there's just a lot of people that are long AMD from the bottom, that just because it's, like Neil said, it's a more common, more heavily looked at name, AMD, than ARM, especially over the last 6 months. So when you see people in a position like this, you know, money coming out, while I feel like people might be like, oh my God, we missed this run up in ARM, where am I gonna get in here to buy it back? When I look at AMD, I don't really see, like I said, 120 is where I feel like you buy this back, 125. ARM, I could see people getting in right now against 69, 70, even against 70. So
the difference being, of course, that like money is only coming into ARM for the first time. They've had like one report on earnings.
Tesla,
and,
damn it.
Whereas AMD's been in for a while. So Tesla, it broke 250. Now, and again, I could have done better on this, except for the fact that twice I was long the break and threw stops in and then got triggered out when I didn't really see it break. It didn't break 50 cents down or anything. It just got above 50 and then broke back down like 15 cents, and I got triggered out anyways. But I'm back into it. I got 03s. I did get to 251.20, I want to say, as a local high. I think 252 is a reasonable spot. I only say 252 because if you go back to last year, Friday, at the open, 252 is where that thing sort of found an opening range bottom and then really huadunked there the second time at 10:30. So if it gets back up to 252, I think that's a reasonable spot to take the profit. If it holds 250, great. I've already scalped some out. I think if we go dip buying, 49 is too far away. I think VWAP at 248 would have to be a secondary trade, but most of this is now scalped out. If it can hold on to the 3/4 at this point, then I'll hold it into 252. I did miss a chance. I talked about missing a chance on the reload the last time at VWAP on Rivian. This is a weaker name, obviously, almost 10% down. I think I saw it tick into SSR. I'm going to double check that. It's now short sell restricted because it ticked 10% to the downside. So I do expect a bounce here probably takes it into VWAP, which I would short. But an SSR bounce off 21 could happen here on Rivian. If it gets to 21 even and fails a breakdown, I'm going to get out of that short. Because once the stock goes 10% down, I think the retracements can get quite big. Oxy just trailed out, so it looks like maybe that story's done for the short term. It got up to 60.50. I said I'd put a trailing stop in at 60.40 if it couldn't break out the pre-market high, and now look for a VWAP retracement here in Oxy. First time didn't work, second time did. If we can get VWAP, the stairs work to the upside. On the energy name, at least. It's not all bad in this market. Speaking of not all bad, Pfizer, okay, I'm gonna cancel my 29.67 bid. No need to have that out there. It's a 30 challenge now for Pfizer. I might play a scalp trade off the 30 level. It's up 4%. It just went 29 to 30. It's 10:30. The time of day also favors it as well. It hasn't really had any kind of a pullback. The 15-minute chart is all green. So I think a scalp trade off the 30 level for fade makes sense. Generally, I wanted to be buying the dip here, but it's not really giving you any dips.
Yeah, no.
Nor is Moderna.
Stocks, man. Okay, so just real quick. Mara's still up on the day because we had that huge move, right? But Mara's still getting pretty much flushed there right now. I'm going to go short Mara, and I know people in the chat are probably going to, not appreciate that look. But you know what? It is what it is. Let's try. There we go. Breaking. Now we're short. Are we short, or what happened there? Oh, that's right. It's short sell restricted, so we have to get short on the way back up. Okay. So right there. Now we're short Mara against at 30s, I believe. So not a great fill there. I forgot that we got to go short sell restricted right now. I don't know why. Oh, CCR from Friday. Were we down 10%? Oh, yeah, it must have been. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so there's Mara down from Friday. Right. Yeah, absolutely kicked on Friday. So, okay. Anyways, anything into 2350 would be great. Like that kind of a low would be fantastic for Mara. We're going to go short right now. And again, there's a lot of room to the upside. So I'm not, like that 50 period of $25. Like, that's enough for me, guys. Like, if we break above this 25, then we are going to get out. I'm willing to sit in this in case, the air really does come out of this name, but I'm not going to average this in until 2480. I want to give it here, let me zoom in a little bit here. I want to give it back into this level before we average into some more. I just wanted to play the bottom break. So we have about 10% or so of our position right now on this name, and willing to sit in this for a little bit. Get something out around 24 because that's how we're doing it. And then we'll wait to see if it does completely collapse after that. So right now, Apple's $2 in the money, so you guys can rock with that if you want. And then Mara right now. Here we go to the downside. And yeah, we're doing it again one more time. Here we go. Here we go for Mara right back in.
Make sure you report that short is eligible.
Yes. You don't want to do that and then have to give that back. But there it is right there. Let's go, man. Mara, one more time. We just put that in the pocket again. And there we go. Apple completely collapsing. Mara coming down. And then as Brittany says, we did it again. And I hope you guys did as well. Bye-bye, Mara. Let's see what happens down near 24 bucks. I hope Patrick's in this over there. He's the Mara guy, so there's no way I'm up and he's not. Mara downside 24.30. Just playing around, Patrick. I have no idea. Let's get to the downside here as we just get filled at 24 flats or so. I think 05s. We just shorted, guys, 24.30 there on the breakdown of Mara. So I hate going against a lot of you because you're long, but hey, that's what we're doing.
I don't think anyone's long it today.
I think there's a lot of people long Mara. But
Baba broke 75.
Oh, did it? Yeah. Well, this market right now, Apple is absolutely collapsing, guys. Apple at the low of the day again, man. And we should probably take another piece out here on Apple, as this is just getting. If you're not having fun, it's probably because you're long, but I'm having a lot of fun. So let's go back over to the desk with Adara.
Bitcoin continuing to have this rally that we have had with these ETF hopes, especially heading into 2024. Right now, we've had for a while BTCs just jumping around this 45,000 level. This 45,000 actually the first time we've crossed over this since April 2022, so pretty significant level here. As we can see right now, we're just above that 45,000 area. Ethereum also pretty strong. Earlier, we actually were trading above 2,400. Now we're at that mid 2,300 area. Solana also very strong, up about 4% as well. Avalanche up about 2 2.3%, guys.
All right.
Crypto names still, and again, remember, we're trading the trades that you see here in equity, right? So it'll be Riot and Mara and Coinbase and those types of things, not trading directly the coins, which can favor the longs a little bit better today on a percentage basis. One stock that was strong, that is strong, I shouldn't say was strong, it still is strong. Pfizer wanted to short it off that 30 level. And again, this is more to do with time of day, showing you a resistance level out in front of 30. I got 91s. The local high was 96, so 5 cents to the high. Once it gets down about 5, start taking profit, and then every 5 cents after that. Got a couple of profit takers already on that name. Because Rivian is short sell restricted, When it gets down again to this $21 level, it just wicked 21. If it breaks 21 even, I'm going to put a trailing stop in here. A lot of times we look for SSR bounces, short sell restricted bounces at some of these big levels. Rivian down 10% and not looking very good. I think we mentioned a little bit about, well, you mentioned Fisker. Another name which I'm a little bit surprised by that is green on the day is going to be Lucid is up, and another one which I'm going to pay for locates on, which is up, is Nikola. Nikola up 2% with a high at Friday's top of that 90-cent level. If it takes out that top, I'm going to look for a short into that $1 level, which has been generally pretty good. So probably already missed Friday's high, but if it breaks that top, and 96 was a level, 98 was a level, I'll look to fade off some of those. But the newest trade is short Pfizer off the $30 level. Been a rocket ship to the upside, this and Moderna. mRNA, I'd say slightly stronger on a percentage basis because it's up 3 times as much. The Pfizer 30 level just a little bit more clear for an entry.
Apple short's still working out, so that's gonna be so far so good. The Mara's trying to bounce a little bit here, and you know what? In the stupid stock of the day for me, and it's stupid me because again, like we can talk about. Okay, Ford, first of all, whatever. It wasn't even on the sticky note. It started to go for a run. I was like, what the hell's Ford doing? But what is on here is XOM long, and it's really stupid, man. What I'm learning is that, obviously, as we say, we're not going to be able to hit every price exactly accurate on where we want to do it, but we knew we wanted to buy dips in XOM. The problem is we were waiting. I wrote down $100.25. The lowest we got to was $100.70. So we definitely missed that. I actually have a bid for $100.26, and we just wrote down here the same price. So unfortunately, miss it by about 50 cents, and then now it's up about $1.50. So yeah, I'm learning every single day, right? Learning to get better for you and for myself, and we'll get a lot better. But there it is, XOM. Just should have bought some of these dips. Like when we saw some kind of support there, we should have got back into that at 101 should have been the long, and it's just continuing to work. So hard to complain, it's working. So all good on that one. The only one that I'm mad about, of course, is Ford, but here we go. Nice little move back in there for Mara. So if Mara wants to break through 24, we'll take it again. We just tweeted it out. We're only out of a third. All right, 23.70. Where's my next bid on Mara? I don't have one, so that means I should put one out. First of all, Apple right now, it's not $1. It's not even really $2, and what's after that would be $3. So let's go. Let's see if we can get $3 in the money right now on Apple. That would be pretty disgusting if we could get that. I'd love to get that. And again, we only have a very, 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 very small piece left. So not that big of a deal. I thought I was getting more up here at 30. I don't even have an offer up there, so that's my bad on Ford. Hey man, can we actually go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5 today? Well, if we get everything out on Apple, then we are 5 for 5. So again, thank you so much for watching. We're doing it again. Like I said, man, Neil to my right, Obi to my right, you guys in front of me. It's not really going to matter. We'll just keep it real. Let's go, man. We haven't done this enough yet. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let's just keep this party going, man. It's been a great run for Trader TV Live, and we're still doing it right now. Uber can't stop digging. Yeah. I mean, we talked about Uber and where we thought we were going. Definitely check out our podcast because you guys wanted more data. And now you've got more content, not more data, more content right there from all of us here at Trader TV Live. So make sure you check that out. And again, thank you so much for all the kind words in the chat.
Yes. Oh my goodness, you're right. JP Swade, Uber can't stop digging.
Right.
Digging a hole to the other side of it's not that bad. Uber was on such a great rally. The thing about a stock that moves this much is it really, like this could pull back to like $53, $54, and it's still pretty much cleanly in the upward trend. It's not even close to the 50 period on the daily, let alone the 200. The 200 period moving average is 25% away on Uber. So that's got a lot of room to pull back and still be relatively healthy. Maybe even that 54, 55 level is a good one to pick some up. I tried to reverse Pfizer through 30. Went short off the 30 level. Let's go back to the 3-minute because that's where it mattered. We shorted right off that high. It was about 91s and reload at 95. It broke 30 even. I got out and reversed on a separate order. We can reverse from short to long on a single order. We can't do it the other way because you have to code the order as short, which can make it trickier, but should have had this one on the reverse through 30. I will look to try to buy the dip on Pfizer through that 30 level. So waited for the key price and got it. Rivian just broke 21, so I just want to make sure my trail is in. Can you do something for me? I said that because you know who was saying it right as she walked past. But 21 just broke to the downside. So because it's short sell restricted, if it gets back through 21 even, I am going to be out. A lot of times I'd be looking for a long sometimes on an SSR bounce here on Rivian. Not really the case. And I said I was going to pay for the low case, but I haven't quite done that just yet on Nikola, though that's not near the price level I wanted. Meta, I'm again canceling a bit of an offer here. VWAP is now down at that 345 level. This one has gotten away at this point. I said 338 was the next significant level on Meta. You might see that today. I'm gonna throw a stink bid out there. This is a reason for 338. Go back into the middle of last month. It was the biggest upward day. It broke out a 338 top, and that was like $5 into the move. But that was the big resistance before it made the break. So I think you get to that level on Meta, it'll be down about 5% or so if it gets there, and I think that would be a good rally spot. It's 1040. I think you can start looking for some scalpable levels on some of these lows, and you're within spitting distance at least now here on Meta. The short's been great, but I think some of these names are due for a little bit of a pop or bounce. Not pop, bounce. As we go to Sector Watch. Perfect timing with Adara.
Despite the general weakness in the market, we do have some stronger sectors that are worth discussing, including health technology. A lot of these names really strong, including Pfizer and Moderna particularly. Moderna getting an upgrade from Oppenheimer amid some notes to investors and shareholders regarding its profitability coming up into 2025. So health technology definitely one of note. Also a lot of strength here in consumer non-durables and to some extent retail trade with the exception of Amazon. Health services very strong, energy minerals strong, utilities, communications stronger sectors as well. In terms of weakness, finance is a little bit more mixed, and then both these big tech sectors here, technology and electronic technology, very much to the downside. Specifically electronic technology, we have a lot of these weakness in these chip names, and also Boeing a bit lower after getting removed from Goldman Sachs conviction list. Apple also much lower after that much discussed Barclays downgrade, guys.
All right, thank you, Adara. And I just want to say, I mean, honestly, guys, to shout out so much. Thank you so much, awesome, and thank you so much to Zion. Right here, I just tweeted this out, man. Your yellow sticky note gives us confidence on the market every single day. So thank you so much, Zion. I would tag you. If you can go find this, I'll tag you in that as well. But thank you so much for that, man. It does mean a lot to me for sure. That's why I'm doing this. I mean, I could sit here. This is how the show started, was me basically talking to all of our traders worldwide here at Day Trade the World. And it was like, nah, man, can't just talk to one office when we have thousands of traders. Try to talk to them all. So that's what we did, and the show was born from that sort of logic. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And so it was natural for me to build it up. I mean, before being on the show, I wasn't even trading for years and years and years. Like I was still trading on the side and still putting out some serious damage to the market, but not trading like this. And I had to develop basically a new style of trading, and it's taken me a couple years to do it. And now, obviously, all of you and myself are hopefully reaping some of the benefits of that. So, and I know that that's what it takes. We talked about it, man. Very few traders, even behind us right now, are going to be green. It takes a while to build it up. So you got to sit there, be confident, and that's exactly what we've been doing. So, yeah, like I was a little nervous, but coming back and sticking with your guns and just being true to your own trading style, and just giving you guys the entertainment that you need. Because at the end of the day, you could see all the trades, that I'm putting on. So it is what it is, and I'm not, really Apple, even if people are like, oh, we don't know how many shares they're using or whatever. I mean, let's just go over the trades then. Apple, 1 for 1. There's the Apple short. Affirm. Let's just say it's two shares each, okay? Look at this. Affirm, short, 2 for 2. So if you're rocking, we just took profit on Ford, but Ford is not a profitable name for us. So let's go 3 for 3. Then here's the Mara trade, right? 4 for 4. And then here's the Tesla trade, 5 for 5. So regardless of what you guys are looking at, there's going to be a lot of opportunities there. Despite the kind of style of trader that you are, sometimes you do have to remake yourself, and that's exactly what I did coming over here to the show. It's nice being one. I'm going to be near in my history of day trade the world, but thing is that styles change all the time. So I've had to revamp it, and I hope you guys have enjoyed some of this ride with me, and it's just been really, really great. And that's it, James Dell. You got to be true to yourself. That's the only thing that really matters, right? And if you are, then you can be successful at this job and at anything that you do.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. Be true to yourself in all ways, man. It matters. It matters a lot in trading because you can't try to trade a style that isn't you or that doesn't work for you. And one of the things that Sean just said there in terms of traders are always reinventing themselves because the market's constantly changing, but you're not changing who you are or your general overall style. Like you might be somebody who loves to scalp trade, so you just look for different types of scalp trades. You might just trade different symbols. Like just little slight adjustments, and then you look back over 10, 20 years, and you're vastly different. Thank you very much, JJ. You're gonna see I'm now out of Rivian. It did that wick bottom through 21 even, and when I say wick bottom, it broke 21, the even dollar level. If we come to my chart here, broke the even dollar level. Immediately, just a couple of minutes to the downside, and then right back above that even dollar 21. Because it's short sell restricted, it might be able to pop into VWAP here, where I would look for a retracement trade on Rivian. So the market is trying to rebound at least a little bit off of 16.7 on the NASDAQ. Meta, which has been, I want to say, a dumpster fire, only down to 3%. It's now bouncing off that 351, 341. But what's interesting to me is Alibaba right now on the $75 level. So BABA failed 75 after, a pretty clean bounce off that level before. Failed, wick bottom. If it can hold above 75, I'm going to look for a retracement play back into VWAP. It's trying to hold now. There's a big seller at 75.01. If it can get through that, I would look to go long above 75 with a stop maybe at like 95 even. But as you can see, just as I was talking about it, it got to that seller at 01s or 02s and reversed. I want to see buying above the $75 level before we can get into that one. If you're still looking at Pfizer, it is still above that $30 level. It did not break underneath 30 since breaking the $30 level. I'm bidding 30.03. That's just a bad wick down here on a dark pool. It's still holding 30 even. I might look for a 30.05 scalp trade off that 30 level. So it's up and down, short and underneath. Want to be long it above that level. If it fails it again, I think you can see VWAP. But the trend is your friend to the end when it does bend. And it has not bent just yet on Pfizer or Moderna.
All right, so there it is right now. We can definitely grab a fail into this one. And we still have 25% of it. So we got out of just our normal 10% down there. I thought it was going to break lower. It hit the 50 period. And we talked about Ford potentially being in a problem spot. And like I said, man, it's a red stock right now for me. And I put in the chat, you can ask us at any time. If you want to know what our stocks are up to or what we're thinking about on any names, and then how our trades have worked out for us. And again, they're all marked on here as well. Sometimes we talk about them, then we go away from them. And if you just want to know, are we up or down on something, just tag us in the chat. You could do it with Adara as well, and Sharif, Neil, myself. Just ask us what we're up to. So that'd be fine. All right, just looking here, what goes up must come down. Is that the case of Tesla? I mean, Tesla had a huge move. Right back to pre-market highs again of 251 and change. Now you're making a move back in on Tesla. So here it goes. Nice move back down in for Tesla into the downside. So yeah, man, this is going to be a tricky one for sure as we watch out to see if Tesla can hold these bids. Mara, this is another one here where we're only out of a third for 30 cents. So now we hold this against us 15 cents. So if we're out of a third, 1/3 for 30 cents, now we hold 2/3 against us for 15 cents. So right now, flat on the stock here, P&L wise. But I was gonna try to give this to the 50-period moving average, but now that's come back in a little bit. I don't even have a stop. I have more offers up here near 24.80. But now that this has come back in a little bit, Actually, I'm still pretty confident with that. We're going to get out if it breaks through 25. So that is for sure if you guys did want to do that. So that's all good, and we'll figure out what's going on with that. Obviously, Adara likes to trade Tesla, so those of you asking, she probably will be on that stock come through off the midday. And today's midday is kind of like, not how to build a sticky note, but how to scan and look for opportunities, I believe. So roughly there, Sharif. Looking for opportunities in the market and daily preparation and different tools that you could use for that one. Shout out to Ponzi Fonzie. He wants a shout out. So there it is. What's up to Dre Day? I'll look at BlackRock and get an idea about that later on. Oh, you want to know what's for dinner? Well, if it's for dinner and you want a chicken dinner winner, let me check. I don't have.
We don't have it.
We don't have it yet. So you tell me what is for lunch for you guys. We don't have it yet. We get the salad,
Tuesday,
so I'm going to say it'll be some kind of a chicken situation. You know what? Because it's mid-week and it's
Taco
kind
Tuesday?
of like, it won't be. The only time it was ever Taco Tuesday is when I requested it. I could do it again.
Literally, the only time we had tacos here on Taco Tuesday, and I wasn't here for it in like 15, 20, I don't know, however long we've been getting the lunches. Tacos, and I don't know if they're any good. You can tell me.
They're great.
Of course they were.
Wow, it's not hard to screw that up. I don't know if it had beef or chicken. It was more like a fajita thing.
You say that.
Yeah.
But like there's a couple of ways you could screw it up. One of those would be overcooking the beef. Typically, if you just screw up the shells, that could be a problem. I'm all about the soft plus the hard taco shell, like double it up.
Oh, double it up. Okay.
I don't know if you ever tried that before. You put the
I never
hard
tried.
taco inside the soft taco.
I know Taco
shell.
Bell has some things like that, but I've never done
If
it.
it breaks, it's inside the soft, and you're good to go. I'm a huge fan of that.
We just started having, my kids have never had Taco Bell before, and they thought that it was only US. So I was coming home from baseball with my daughter a couple weekends ago, and it was just, I was like, hey, we were talking about Taco Bell, and then it was like, let's go find, I knew where there was one, so we stopped on one on our way home, and we each got a taco, and I said, you got to have hard shell, because they always have soft, and they liked hard shell. So.
Both, man. I'm telling you, if you never tried it, don't knock it till you try it. That's all I'm going to say. It's absolutely delicious, and it keeps a little bit more clean. Have you seen SoFi today?
It's probably getting absolutely killed. I should have shorted that. Should have got out of that one probably.
Well, so it's down. We're going to get to money talks in a quick little second. But so here's SoFi, just going to show you guys the chart. This is the big support level down around 9. It's at like 915. Flat bottom break-ish off the 980 level, and it stair step. Now there's size at the 61. It's not so bad, but it's got a 50 bottom on it.
Yeah,
so 952 is the low of the day. If the market wants to go from 2% to worse, 950 has lots of room to the downside on SoFi. I did not check to see if there was a size bid down there, but it is 1050. That means we're going to the desk. It's time for Little Money Talks.
DXY to the upside to kick off 2024. We are just above that 102 area. We were trading below that last week, so definitely a move to the upside for the first time in what looks like 3 days here in the daily chart for the DXY. We did get earlier today a little bit of economic data. The S&P Global U.S. Manufacturing PMI for December came in a little bit lower than expected, 47.9 versus 48.2. We have lots of other economic data coming up this week, though, including JOLTS job numbers tomorrow, along with the FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. tomorrow. We also have on Friday the non-farm payroll, so definitely lots of information to stay tuned on with regards to economic data that could impact the USD coming into the rest of the week, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. I'm going to go to Intel for the first time today. And Intel, it's failed the $50 level. That's sort of a last week story. It could not hold above that price. It got to 52, which is a big level on the daily chart, or close enough to it. But if you go to the 22nd, this close right before the Christmas break was right at the $48 level. So it's not it's not the entire gap fill. I think the real gap fill might be to 45 or to 47, but the first significant levels in, it's an even dollar as well. This is that time of the day you look for scalp bottoms, and look at the battle being waged at that low of the day. It's wicked to 47.92 as the current low. As long as it can hold out to that, I'd look for some scalp longs off the 48 level on Intel. We did like the short on some of the chip names if they could have popped. If it could have popped into 50, I would have done it, but it was nowhere close to it. So it looks like it's going to hold, or at least trying to hold this 47.92. I'm going to like the dip buy here. I'll give it to that low of the day, but I want fills under 48 if I can to risk less than 10 cents on an against the grain trade. This market is flushing. Sure, it's trying to bounce to 16.7 and gotten out of the shorts, but it doesn't mean that the trend is gone just because a couple of stocks hold some lows.
All right. Yeah, people talking still now about tacos getting me hungry. Yeah, no. Taco Bell is. We're actually really. There's so many good things about being in Toronto for sure. It's just one of the best is the food. So, I mean, the food and the sort of, not only goes along with food, but it also is just sort of the diversity, right, of different cultures, different everything that exists obviously in this world. It's very, very polarizing here in Toronto. So yeah, like you can't get away with shitty tacos, that's for damn sure. So a couple of great places there. There's a place on College, Campecho, or I don't know, where's Brendan? He lives near in and around there. But anyway, some great. Gus Tacos is kind of like a franchise, which is great as well. So anyway, shout out to everybody there. Thank you, John. Give the show a like. I mean, if you're not giving the show a like, then what is wrong with you? I guess Kat's on vacay here again today, but you can hit the like as well. I know Neil has a new one. I know Sharif has one that he doesn't like us hitting. And I don't know, we got
filmed the new one that we haven't seen yet, but we'll get a chance to see it at some point.
We'll get a chance to see it. Adara, I don't think has one, but we're going to get one for her. And again, I'll give a big thank you to Fabian today, who's working this whole board by himself until Ramin comes back, I guess from vacay this week, or maybe she's not feeling well. I don't know again on that one.
I think she's vacation. Hopefully she's feeling a little bit better.
Okay,
so
there we go. So she's sick.
Hey, we have. Is that new?
No, that's the look there. What's up, Fabian? How you doing, my guy? Over there. So that's Fabian. Yeah, again, the most handsome guy around. So thank you, Fabian, for all the hard work that you continue to do for us, making us look good here every single day. So, all right, only 5 more minutes to go. As you can see, we're on one today and feeling it. So I hope everybody also is enjoying the show, as it's just been a really, really good day. Now we just wait for Mara. Our last trade that we had was a bad one, and it was averaged into Ford. We got it at 75% when it broke higher. You know, if this comes back down to 12.20, we could still wind up making some money, but I just kind of laugh because I kind of knew that it was in trouble, but we talked about this position that we didn't really like it. So kind of a quick hitter on that one. And then everyone keeps telling us, look at these names, chip names, and things like that. I mean, look, I had Raider Trader on the show last week. Thank you so much, Raider Trader, for coming on, man. You're always welcome back on, especially with those damn super chats. And then the other thing is that he agreed with me. And that was that we are going to be getting a fall here in January. Starting today, yes, but this is not the fall I'm talking about, nor he. I still think NVIDIA gets all the way back into low fours, somewhere in here. I think that's going to be some good dip buy opportunities for this name. And again, I just think that we pulled forward way too much. Oh, make sure right now you check out the podcast. Our #1 podcast so far was launched last week. So make sure you check that out, where Brendan and myself, we talked all about rates and what we thought could happen, and then gave some picks for the new year. And we're going to do some more of that here as well. But yeah, I just feel that, you know, if the consumer, for some reason, some sort of a crack or something happens in this consumer, the market's going to be in big trouble. Credit card debt, $1 trillion and still growing. So just watch out for that. If unemployment tips one way or the other, that could be a problem, let alone CPI and inflation sort of already there with the PCE core that they're looking for. So let's wait to see what the Fed exactly does come January 31st, and then into the new year as we're in there right now. Should be a fun one for sure. Thank you so much for rocking with us.
Yes, sir. And for all of you guys that are throwing out these symbols out there, we appreciate it, because sometimes, like I said, you're not going to be seeing every single stock in the market. Many who's traded Intel off the lows. I sort of just explained that one and got some evens. Money fills underneath that 48 just because the bottom was at 92. I wanted to get some fills underneath that 50 level. But C3AI, a little surprising to find this one up 3% into a down market, but that's where it is. Look at this ramp job to the upside for C3AI, bouncing off 28, but guess what? $30 looks like a pretty good turn. here on C3AI. Last week, last year, whatever, 29.80 to 30 was a good sell zone. You had the last close above was at 30.20. I want to look for a fade in this area off C3AI, but I needed to get a little bit higher. It's at 29.50. If I'm telling you 30.25 is the top of the range there, 80 cents away is no good on C3AI. I mean, it's up 3%. You want it to go another 3% before it gets to that high. That's way too early to short it, but it is getting close to that zone. And you want to be ready for when the stock gets to that price. I want it breaking 30, then looking for a short off of that level in C3AI. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Unless there's a story, I should check to see if there's a story on C3AI why it would be up 3% when all of tech is going in the other direction.
All right. We have to do this. We have to.
Another one.
There's one early.
Another
There was another one, and there was a few other ones. But right now, the most recent another one is Mara. So there's the reload at the 50-period moving average, and there's the out at 24. What did I just get? 24.23s. Whoa, 24.27. Okay. So we got 24.27 fill off of a 50 reload. We just took it. I think it was 47. Where am I short? That's an average price now. So, okay. So there it is, man. We were reloaded. And as Neil just mentioned about a reload, we're reloaded again right now for Mara. So again, we will have one only red stock this morning, Ford, as we're doing quite well. McDollar, $10, McDee's. This is another name that we emptied out of our portfolio. Is $10 downside? Is that true? Got above.
McDonald's is down $10.
Did it get over? No. The guy said it there. MCD, $10 gap down. Yeah, no, not right now. We got out. So again, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that. I actually thought that it did gap down. I got out of some of this position, and again, Brent and I talked about this on the pod, was getting out of some positions that have maybe run upside, that are at some of these key levels, that you really don't, it's not that you don't like these positions. It's like, if it's going to be a core position, fine. It's just like this kind of a move up. Nothing wrong with taking some out. We talked about Snapchat as what I talked about before. Sort of what I thought with Snapchat was that this was going to be a potential buyout candidate, but again, when you're going to go from $10 to $17 like that and dance around, this was another thing that we got out last week. So again, we got out of Snapchat above $17. We talked about that. And again, because what I thought was just that we were going to have a potential buyout, like if there was any sort of a candidate out there, would be Snapchat. But I don't think, Sharif's favorite character of all time, this Lena Khan individual, will be approving any sort of big cap tech things anytime soon. So
depends on who. Yeah, if it's one of the Mag 7 buying, that's the problem.
It always, it always going to depend on it. Yeah. So who's going to buy Snapchat? Either I think private equity, which probably won't be that big of a deal, but then they're just going to try to sell it anyways, and or Meta, I think, or Google, or anybody. I mean, Google was trying to do the glasses. Meta currently is doing the glasses, and Snapchat does have something in that space as well. I really like Adobe on dips. Adobe was a name that I bought earlier, like at the beginning of this year, that I really liked, and I got to give a shout out to my good friend and a good friend of the show, of course, Tony. He was very, very much in Adobe. He got out of it. I remember when he did, but I really did like that. And another name that I like that we didn't really talk about on the podcast, because quite frankly, Brendan and I ran out of time. I really like DocuSign. So I just think that DocuSign, again, it's going to be one of those names that does float in. But just back in mid-December, DocuSign, it's 11:01, so we got to go. But DocuSign back there at the beginning of December, midway through December, hired a firm to look into possible, takeover chatter and or possibilities. So I think DocuSign, if that gets done, man, I mean, you're going to have a huge, 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 huge move to the upside. So thank you so much for watching. Again, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-in-1 kind of morning. I hope you're able to be successful and just keep on battling throughout the day. Where's Tony? Down south, man. He just went home. He was not a resident of Canada.
With that, you know what time it is. We'll be back at 2 o'clock to trade some of the close, but you're heading on over to the midday. How to select stocks and how to prepare for the markets every single day, something which we do as traders, and you got to do more of as well. If you're not preparing properly, this is a chance to go over there and learn with the professor and Adara. Go get him.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to Learn How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adara. I'm Sharif, and as per usual, we're gonna wait for the chat to populate and for people to move over from the other stream. We already got Oil Nick in the house, as well as Callum Mitchell Miller, and of course, we got Bears versus Bulls, who's always on